Hello YouTube, welcome to another video. Today we're going to be playing an interesting Doomsday list from a good friend and a Doomsday mentor, Michael Solymossy, and I actually have him here with me if you would like to introduce yourself.
Yeah, my name is Mike Solymossy. Everybody knows me as Solly. Been playing Vintage competitively since 2003. Took a break about 2018. Just came back to the format with Eternal Weekend this year. Actually love where the format's been. Really rusty with Doomsday, but played Doomsday basically in every iteration from the Mean Deck version with Mind's Desire into Beacon of Destruction all the way through the research development kill with 4 Gush. Even played a list in 2010 or 2011 that was mana drains and all sorts of stuff after Gush got restricted for the second or third time. I can't remember. And then played the Laboratory Maniacs combo. Haven't really played too much with Thassa's Oracle. It's kind of interesting because weirdly, it really changes the math because you don't need 2 blue anymore, but also you don't need to draw your entire stack, which is something that I tend to still do. But exciting to try and play some Doomsday. Milwaukee, Wisconsin is starting to fire up some vintage again. And I'm planning to travel for the Oklahoma land run and some other things. So I figured it's time to dust off the Doomsdays and give it a run. So
Probably the best combo deck if you know the entire format when it comes to because you can just build piles that beat pretty much everything, almost everything.
yeah, and it's interesting because the Teach the Mirror is really the combo deck that I enjoy playing right now because it's very reminiscent of the Perfect Storm back in the Fortrinosphere era, where you could just turn 1 or turn 2 somebody, but you're completely fine waiting till turn 3 or turn 4. But Doomsday is a much heavier control deck, so it's somewhat reminiscent in a much different way to like Control Flavor or Gifts Ungiven, where you can wait till turn 3 or turn 4, but you basically are almost deterministic. And I really enjoy that with Doomsday. I also enjoy the piles. I never memorize my piles. I always build them on the fly, and I like that puzzle.
Yeah, I do think Doomsday is the black gifts ungiven to an extent. But your list right here that we're going to be testing: 1 Street Wraith, no Mental Misstep, 2 Force of Negations. We got the new land that surveils. And then besides that, it's pretty stock. I do like your Pact of Negation. Pact of Negation is great. And then we have the one of Chain of Vapor, which I'm hoping will come up. I guess we would count the Chain of Vapor as the Mental Misstep, and that's how we should track when if this was better, right?
Yeah, so let's talk about that. So the Pact of Negation is actually something that you talked to me about at Eternal Weekend, and I chose to play Oath instead of Doomsday, which was in retrospect probably a mistake. But I never really liked Pact of Negation. However, coming out of Eternal Weekend, even the workshop decks, which seem to be very popular still, are playing Force of Wills because they're dual. And there's a bunch of different blue Lurrus builds. Even the Paradoxical Outcome decks are playing Lurrus now and 4 Dress Downs. So I think having a 0 mana counterspell in your Doomsday piles is worth the otherwise mostly dead spot. I'm sure it comes up where you have 5 mana and can just pay for the Pact trigger, but I don't anticipate doing that. And then the Mental Misstep is actually something that Brandon Adams, who goes by a Midland Legacy Doomsday expert and vintage Doomsday player from the Chicagoland area, he had been talking about for a while, and it actually made sense because it feels really good when you get, let's say, a Sensei Top or Ancestor Recall obviously feels phenomenal to get. Sometimes Soul Ring. But realistically, if you're trying to go off, Mental Misstep only has one purpose, and that's usually to pitch the Force of Will. You're not going to Mental Misstep anything relevant other than maybe Spell Pierce. So his idea was to cut that card, and then he also plays 2 Force of Negation, which truthfully I don't like that card, mainly because it's defensive instead of offensive, and I feel like you want to be offensive. But his reasoning, which I agreed, is he wants to respect Oath quick opens. and he wants to respect the jewel deck. He says his exact words were, "I don't ever want to lose the jewel." So that was that thought. And then Dress Down's probably the best card in Vintage right now. It's definitely up there. So I have one in the main. I was playing two, but I cut one for Chain of Vapor because Chain of Vapor can randomly get you out of problems with Opposition Agent for one, Geldred, even Bowmasters if necessary. And more importantly, it can get you out of problems with a Dress Down. So if your opponent has enough mana to stop your Oracle, you can play Oracle, they respond with a Dress Down, and before the Oracle resolves, you can Chain of Vapor that. They don't get a chance to chain your Oracle. And even if they do, if you're in a situation where Chain of Vapor can chain an Oracle, you can essentially still win the game if you set your stack correct. And interestingly enough, it sometimes could potentially come up where you resolve an Oracle early in the game, and then you need to put it back into your hand because you removed the second one to like a Force Will, for example, and you can actually chain your own. And then as far as the Undercity Sewers, seems pretty stock. I almost want to. You'll notice that the list still has the Watery Grave.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of playing 6 pseudo Underground Seas or real Underground Seas because the format is extremely Wasteland heavy. In 20 years, it's probably the most Wasteland heavy I can remember since, the early 2000s when you had Crucible and Fist and all that stuff. So I really want to respect the Wasteland decks, and that Undercity Sewers it's so strange because it seems like it would be so minor, but when you're trying to dig specifically for a Doomsday, just having an end step fetch land when you're normally getting Watery Grave that you can also look at the top of your deck and see if it's valuable is just so good. And then on top of that, while it's probably such a very small percentage, I could see, for example, if you're facing against a Hull Breacher or you have low life and are facing against a Bowmaster, that you could set up a stack that uses the Sleight of Hand plus a fetch land in order to rifle through your deck enough without drawing cards, essentially. So it's just a really neat card, and I think that the downside of it coming into play tapped is definitely not zero, but it's still pretty low.
I will say it seems like having Flusterstorm open all the time has been a little less relevant recently. So I can see where this coming to play Tapland isn't bad. But let's also look at your sideboard where we have
Okay.
a bunch of different stuff for like it, there's no like 4 ley lines. It looks like we have like kind of a creature pivot as well. And then
Yeah,
3
so the
kill
standard
spells.
the standard stuff is essentially a second Dress Down because while talking with some people that play Doomsday, they don't like Dress Down because of the ability to shut off your own Thassa's Oracle. The reality is you set up a Time Walk pile, and you sometimes want to Dress Down. I've actually used it in games to Dress Down both a Thalia and an Archon to set up a win where my Time Walk, my Dress Down's dead, but the only thing I have to resolve at that point is my Oracle and my Time Walk turn. So I think that card has use. Also shuts down Lavinias, which are somewhat important. I don't think Lavinia is that great right now, just because the Lavinia decks want to play 4 Wastelands, a Strip Mine, and 4 Urza Sagas. But Dress Down's also very good against the Urza Saga tokens, which obviously, if your game plan's going well, it's never going to get to that point, but you can't always have the nuts. So sometimes you have to play from behind. Force of Negation is just the third one that's a hedge against other combo decks, mainly for the Jewel Menace. I'm not a fan of Mindbreak Trap and Doomsday. Force of Negation can actually be cast in awkward games. Urkel's Recall is a hedge against the Sphere of Resistance workshop decks that are coming back.
Yep.
And then Cut Down is essentially your standard 1 black mana. I really want to try Last Goodbye, but I feel like 1 black versus just black mana is a lot. And then Dismember was something you actually convinced me to play a second one of over Snuff Out, because I'm a big fan of Snuff Out, but you actually had mentioned that there's a lot of black creatures that you care about, and I'm not a big afraid of not Oracle, excuse me, of Bowmaster. But I think that people are starting to play opposition agent. You don't really see a lot of hull breachers, but they exist. Obviously, Snuff Out gets them too. But opposition agents, opposing Sheldred can even be a thing. And all the other black creatures that sometimes matter are enough for me to play Dismember. Plus, 3 to 4 when you have a Lavinian play can actually be a big deal since they're all playing Wastelands. So obviously Dismember's not great against Lavinia, but it is better than Snuff Out. And then the creature package is Opposition Agent because I don't want to lose the mirror, and against Urza Saga, it's hilarious to just put that thing in there because the Lurrus decks weirdly have like 10 cards that they tutor with. Murktide Regent is because the Lurrus decks probably don't keep in Swords to Plowshares. Obviously, once they start seeing Sheldreds and things, if they won game 1 or if they win game 2 and see those, they'll bring them in. But the blue-black Lurrus deck can't beat a big creature.
Yeah.
Playing Oath versus them, even if they dress down your 7/7, your 7/7 is still enough to get there because it's just a big body. And Murktide does that. Against the mono white decks, they should be boarding out Swords to Plowshares, and they might keep in Solitude, but if they have enough to board out, they'll board that out. And they're only playing 1 or 2 anyway. So that's a big body. It does hilarious things if you have a large graveyard and you cast Doomsday, because if I'm not mistaken, I believe Doomsday does remove those cards from the graveyard, which can grow it. And then Sheldred. Sheldred's a pet card. I wanted to play 1, but I own 2 of the Praetor concepts, and I love that card. And again, the Lurrus decks have a really hard time working around that card, and a lot of decks do. And then the Graveyard Hate package is mainly because I really respect Dredge as a deck. I think secretly, or at this point, or maybe when this video goes up, not so secretly, that Dredge might be the best deck or second best deck in the format. So I want to have varied threats against them. And I don't like Leyline because nothing feels worse than when you mulligan to 6, you keep a ridiculous looking 6 that's very powerful but has no interaction, and you're like, you know, for example, like Sapphire, Land, Ancestor Recall, Flusterstorm, and some other stuff, and you're like, I'm going to get somewhere. And then your first draw step is always Leyline of the Void. Whenever I play that card, it's a vampiric tutor to put Leyline on top of my deck after I'm done mulliganing. So I hate playing Leyline. I think Jailer is one of the best cards. Jothy Voidwalker is another card that's similar to Jailer. Not normally a fan of it because of the double black, but since all of our lands are black anyway, and we play Dark Ritual, basically the same thing. Surgical Extraction is a cute card that has a lot of different outside uses. You can even board it in the Doomsday Mirror to like screw up piles. And then Pithing Needle and Tabernacle need no explanation.
Yeah. Pithing Needle can be brought in versus a lot of decks as well.
Yeah. So my thought process when I was talking with you through the deck and then really writing it down and seeing where I wanted to be is I absolutely hate Street Wraith. I think Street Wraith is the worst card in the deck by a long margin. Mainly because when you have it in your opener, I would rather it be a card that actually has text versus a random card. It's an unknown card that replaces itself after mulligans. And obviously it's very good at making your Doomsday piles kill. But if you play the deck well, you should be able to kill with Doomsday pretty effectively anyway. So I wanted to go more control heavy because I do feel like when the format is trying to speed up, playing a combo deck like Doomsday or historically like the Perfect Storm or decks like that are designed to go off on turn 3 or turn 2, but interact along the way can really shake things up. So I felt that we should cut the Street Wraiths for speed because everybody I talk to boards them out anyway, and just play a couple more cards that I would want in the sideboard, namely like the Chain of Vapor, the Force of Negation, the Dress Down, those types of things. So I'm not sure if it's right to cut them completely or even to cut down to less than 3, but I'm interested in to try it. I am keeping the 1 because while I did want like a Consider or something else, I think it's hilarious to keep 1 Street Wraith because in watching a lot of people playing Magic Online, which I don't do, I see a lot of people playing Pithing Needle on Street Wraith, so I do kind of want to keep the 1 in there so they board in a otherwise useless card.
And then I also see the Lotus Petal.
Oh yeah, I didn't talk about the Lotus Petal. I think that Lotus Petal is way too important in speeding up the deck when you're otherwise slowing it down. So there's sometimes where you just need to play a land plus have one more mana post Doomsday pile, and it's like your Sapphire's in play and you need another blue, or your Jet's in play and you need another black. It comes up mostly actually and historically in Brainstorm piles where you have Brainstorm to start to chain, or if Exiled Ancestor Recall and Brainstorm is your best thing, you can throw in like a Lotus Petal. So it comes out against decks to play Null Rod or decks to play like Sphere Effects, not Workshop, but if they're playing the Null Rods, I would board it out. Against mono white, I would board it out, but I think that it's just better than playing, like, for example, a second island. It could potentially be a second Undercity Sewers and go up to 15 lands, but that feels a little heavy to me. So I don't know. I'm excited. I'm not 100% certain. I'm looking forward to some games. I'm liking that I can bird a league instead of just going into my paper event next week blind. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I'm definitely down to test it. So yeah, let's hop into a league. Okay, we are on the play for round number 1. Yes, we'd like to be on the play.
Oh wow. Shuffle your deck.
Yeah, we're gonna mulligan this hand. Sadly. Who knows, it could be really good.
No, it wouldn't be.
This
is fine. I mean, I probably right. Yeah, I probably keep this and go Sapphire into Preordain, and then Misty into the Surveil land to try and hit like a cantrip or a protection or something like that. And then this is actually an example of where Lotus Petal's surprisingly good.
Yep, and we're gonna bottom an Underground Sea.
Absolutely, yeah. There's no question there. Your opponent said, "I hope you brought foul." So
I did not. So I just
see, and I'm known for my salt. So the first thing I would do is mute chat. But thankfully, I'm not behind the wheel, so I'll behave.
Good luck. Have fun. See. Because they haven't. Well, we would have seen a cat by now.
Correct.
Okay. Oh, they are.
Okay, so they're on the Force of Will version, which 9 times out of 9.5, I would expect. You do sometimes see the Gaia's Cradle version, but not as much.
Yeah. I've had Noxious Revival mess up some of my piles before.
I've seen that, yeah.
So
he's down to 4, so that's good for us. I would say that, mathematically, the chances of them having Bazaar activating and still having interaction for us is low. So yeah, I think that my game plan is pretty solid here to just preordain and.
Maybe we were supposed to leave with the land.
Oh, okay. Man.
So I think we take the Pact, we bottom the Demonic, and then we surveil looking for a cantrip.
Hear me out. So the Doomsday is a pass the turn. What about keeping the Pact, keeping the Demonic, drawing the Pact, keeping the Demonic, and then you Demonic Tutor for Gush, so that you Doomsday Gush and kill him on the spot instead of Doomsday Pass. Less knowledge.
Yeah, we can.
And you have the Surveil. And you have that Surveil land, so maybe now with this, you probably play Misty and
don't fetch.
Leave the Demonic on top.
Mm-hmm.
Because next turn you can Demonic, and then you could still Surveil next turn. Because either way, it's a turn 3, right? So if you get Gush, you just Doomsday kill them. Obviously, that gets interacted with if they have their 1 of Strip Mine, their 4 of Wasteland. So you have enough mana to get through that. So that's what I would do.
So we'll put Demonic on top of our deck, draw the Pact, and pass the turn?
Yeah, because if they're playing... If they're playing something stupid like Grief, which I very doubt that these decks could play, they Grief you and they take your Doomsday, and then you at least have Demonic on top for something. And I don't play the Lotus Petal because that just signifies combo, and I don't want them to know anything about that.
And it's just bait for Force of Vigor.
Yeah, and the interesting thing is if they go with a Chalice, then obviously the Lotus Petal is bad, but I'm willing to risk that.
Yep. Force blue card.
And
Well,
Rootwalla.
okay.
So it's unfortunate that they had the Master, because that thing will come back, but it turns on their forces, and they did have the Chalice.
It did have the Chalice. I mean, we can still win. I mean, if it's just Chalice, we're just gonna still we could demon tutor for like recall.
Yeah, that's true, and cast it. They have 2 cards in hand, so what are the odds of it being a misstep or a Force of Will?
Yep.
And if it's Force of Negation, they probably should just negate your Doomsday. And if they do something like that, you can get the Surveil land and at least have some sort of action. They cursed us by mentioning the Chalice, though.
Do you have a force for this? They do have the Force of Will for that. Granted, their hand is
Okay,
kind
that's
of
fine.
not good.
I mean, they have nothing, and if you Surveil into a Ritual, into Gush, into any land, you can just cast Doomsday, and obviously there's a ton of other spells that are very good. I mean, they're presenting 0 cards with no pressure.
Yep.
Pretty solid mulligan to 4 from them, though.
Yeah.
I don't think you can ask for much better than Bizarre Chalice, the Forcible, and any type of pressure. Obviously, the Rootwalla could have been like a hollow one, and they have double master, so they're gonna. Oh,
There's a hollow one.
okay.
I
Get the
take.
Surveil land.
Yeah, I have a stop in the.
Yeah, you still have so much time. I'm pretty sure that this Undercity Sewers, yeah. I'm pretty sure that that will signify combo, but yeah, and then you bottom the island because it's useless.
So I just right click on it and put
Into graveyard.
Okay. Okay. Well, they've got nothing, so I'm gonna recall myself.
I was hoping for a black land, but recall was pretty good. Okay, I'd probably hold on the Gitaxian Probe and flight for 2 cards to see if I hit a ritual.
A little slight. So we want to try to hit Dark Ritual.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, even another land, we'd have to pass the turn with the Doomsday next turn. But even another black land is, and there's the ritual.
I think we just go off next turn because I think we're
The
safe.
The only question is, do we want to Doomsday right now and pass the turn since they have 0 cards in hand and have Force of Will since they can't really interact with us? The thing that screws that up is if they have a Wasteland, depending on what your stack is. So I do think that there's more benefit in setting up like a Dark Ritual Doomsday Probe You than Gush pile. So I do think you're right. We draw the ritual and we probably wait.
So we can. I want to. So this is my first time
Yeah,
casting Sun, so we'll put that in hand. Okay. So yeah, I'm down to wait a turn.
I mean, I know a lot of people pass the turn with Doomsday, and you're probably correct to do that, but I absolutely hate passing the turn with Doomsday.
Especially with this much like counter backup and all that.
Well, you only have 1 counter because Pact gets countered by the Chalice.
Oh, it does. Definitely forgot.
But really,
that was
what can they have? Because unless they draw a Wasteland, which we could probably play around, there's not anything they have because they're probably going to dig to try and keep like a Mindbreak Trap or a Force Will, but they can't keep 2 in their hand, most likely. And you have the Force Will plus Pact, remove Pact to the Force Will, obviously.
So they did
The only thing that
1 in hand. and they bottomed a Wasteland, so I think they're
They have
definitely
a blue
keeping
card
force.
plus the
Yeah.
master.
Yep.
The only thing that would really interact with us in a meaningful way would be double Mind Break Trap.
Yeah, but we know that they've got at least master.
Exactly.
The other I've had
Just
like
don't put Lotus in your pile.
no Lotus in the pile, sadly. Okay. See what we get. Okay. Well,
It's a
let's
blank magic card, but it shouldn't matter. So you play the Doomsday, you play the Probe, you dust floating a blue into probably Time Walk and
another. Now, if I pay with probe because I pay with life and it's not actually 0, it's not going to get countered by Chalice, right? That's not a
no, the
thing.
casting cost is still 1.
I don't want to show them the pact of negation.
No, yeah, absolutely. So you get Dust, you get Time Walk irrelevant, you draw to 4 with Dust
Well,
because of
we
the
could
Probe.
get Ancestral, drawing, tap Sapphire, Ancestral, draw, so we go to
And
4 cards on pile.
I like a Gust Time Walk pile just because the Gust gives you get to play a land right now, and then next turn, well, one of your lands is a surveil land, so it does. Ooh,
Well, so actually, what
the
if we put
surveil land could actually dig you deeper to kill them.
well, if we did Ancestral, right? Ancestral gets we probe Ancestral and well, no, because then we'd have 0. Well, we could do probe Ancestral into land force days.
Hold on. So if we get Gust, we probe into Gust. We have 4 cards left. We Gust into Thoracle plus whatever. We have 2 cards left, and we can even replay our surveil land for 1 card. So we can have Gust, Thoracle, doesn't matter, Thoracle, right?
I believe so. So you want to
Because
do Gush?
Probe draws Gust, Gust draws Fastest Oracle and irrelevant magic card. With a blue and pool and Sapphire untapped, you get to replay the Undercity Sewer to mill 1 additional card, and then you get to use your blue mana plus your Sapphire to play Thoracle, and even if they did have interaction for that, your second or your last card is Thassa's Oracle. So it's like Gust, Thassa's Oracle, 2 random magic cards, and Thassa's Oracle.
So Gush, Thassa's Oracle, Thassa's Oracle. I guess we could do like the Time Walk just in case.
I mean, it's going to get milled. So, but yeah, I mean, you could throw Time Walk in there.
Or is there things that we want to hide then?
Oh, that's actually a really good point.
We could hide a chain. And we could hide. I guess we would just hide the chain and then hide Street Wraith.
Maybe they might think we're on 0.
Yeah. So we're going to probe
Then,
into Gush. Gush into replay our surveil land, binning, I guess, one of these cards, and then we'll just play the Thassa's Oracle and win.
you're not really hiding anything
Yeah.
unless you want to bin a Thassa's Oracle since they have nothing.
Yeah. Which I'm down to do that. So let's do.
Hide the Chain of Vapor then as the last card because they'll probably
Chain.
assume you're Street Wraith. Well, no, put Chain, Thoracle, Street Wraith, Thoracle, Gust. Float a blue. Well, yeah, you have to probe first, but
Yep.
float a blue, cast Gust. Replay the Undercity, even though it doesn't matter. There's no reason not to, right? It just mills. Yeah, there we go.
Then let's begin sideboarding. Okay, so Pithing Needle, Tabernacle, Shieldrids.
Surgical.
Could be a surgical extraction right here. Okay.
And then I bring in the Dossy and the Yixlid just because they can still beat you down with the opener they had, but that's better than them having the
Yeah.
Ventide open.
And I also have like I thought I had your sideboard matrix up. Oh, it's right here. We've got this right here. So this is the
Yeah, again,
Bizarre
not
Aggro deck.
100% convinced it's correct, but I'm a big
Press,
fan of boarding out the Force and Negations because they have no text. The
yep.
Dress Down because it essentially has no text. The Daze, the Daze can daze a
It hits
hollow
everything.
one and stuff like that, but I'm not a fan of the card because it just sets you back.
Okay.
I board out the Thoughtseize. I actually board out Necropotence because after turn 1, it really doesn't matter. Plus, like, Dark Ritual Necropotence is really good, but I have had that card Mindbreak trapped after, like, casting Upkeep Vamp for Necro.
Yeah.
I don't really want to do that. And then I board out the Sleight of Hand just because even though it does have a lot of cases, it is the worst cantrip in your deck.
Correct. Yeah, usually I board out the situational draw spell if I'm not versus something where it matters. So we need to find 2 more cards. So we have Days, Dress Down, Necro, Thoughtseize,
Force
Sleight of Hand.
Negation.
Oh, the double Force of Negation. Yep.
Yeah. And I keep the 1 Street Wraith. If I played any more than 1, I'd be boarding down to 1, but I do keep 1 because it is giving you the ability to do the fast Doomsday kill.
Yep. Yeah, there's our 7. Let's submit the deck.
And realistically, they shouldn't be boarding in Fury against you, which is something I've seen them do. You are just the king of drawing 3 or 4 of one of your cards.
Yeah, let's mulligan this hand. Ugh. Hand
So on
seems
6, you don't really have anything that you can Mystical Tutor for out of your sideboard that matters, and Gust is going to be too slow. I'd throw this back.
You throw this back?
Yeah, because the Mystical can get you recall, but you're behind. See, and you have a turn 1 Jailer without even having to run a Ritual.
Okay, so we're gonna put back.
I would put back Watery Grave and probably the Ritual, just because my goal is to draw a Force of Will and then just cast Jailer.
Okay.
It's not great by any means. Jailer would be better if they were Dredge, but Jailer does have some text.
Yeah.
I mean, most likely, I saw that I believe they're mulliganing to 5, so most likely they're not going to have a very strong hand.
Yeah, they got rid of.
Oh, they did have a Fury, and interesting. Maybe they just have 1 and they didn't board it out.
Yeah.
They just mulled to Oblivion.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, we are here for round number 2. We are on the draw.
I guess Sting, when he retired from wrestling last week, decided to start playing some Magic because he got Scorpion Death Drop.
I don't know about this hand. I feel like it does nothing. It's just a bunch of mana and we force something. Unless Ponder hits something.
I'm torn because game 1 on the draw, I think I want to keep this because even if you force something, you have the Surveil land and you're just looking for, Doomsday, Necropotent, anything like that.
Okay.
Let's keep it and see where it goes, just because, I'm not pondering turn 1. I'm probably just playing my mana out and then keeping Surveil land.
Okay, I'm down to keep.
The strength in this hand is actually the Surveil land. If we didn't have the Surveil land, this would 100% be a mulligan. Probably still 85 that we should have, but
See what they're on. They got a Golos picture. I don't know if that actually ever matters in Magic.
no, it never matters. People always try to do that to get whatever advantage they can, just like your opponent last time saying, I hope you brought Force, and then he's playing the Bazaar deck.
Leading with Lotus Petal. So sometimes when I
So
see
that tells me
this.
the Siege are weirdly enough maybe Oops All spells or maybe White Initiative.
Yeah, I don't know if we counter the Lotus Petal.
No, not with our hand, because even if they open up with Thalia, you can play your mana sources out. So the worst thing they could have is Archon. Okay, so they're Jewel probably or Beseech, but Beseech doesn't normally play Mana Vault, so I think there's some sort of combo deck.
I think we just allow this to resolve.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, at this point, you're only countering their combo pieces, and if they're playing Oops and have a pact or something, yeah,
Yeah.
top is fine. It's like the one time where I'd love to have Misstep, but you'd be misstepping the Mana Vault anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a solid opener from them. Good news with opens like this is unless their hand is absolutely busted,
I feel like I'm gonna
and
get
it looks like they
tinkered.
probably have Tinker or Time Twister. Yeah,
For
like
real.
Tinker, their odds of forcing here are low, not zero, obviously.
Yeah, especially with top. Okay.
Oh, and they have the top into the counter spell. Okay,
I
so it
mean,
is outcome. They're going to get the Citadel. It's real bad for us, but it's not
yeah.
terrible since they have one card in hand.
No, it's
And
Jewel.
oh, it is Jewel
Okay.
playing Lotus Petal. Interesting.
Ugh.
I mean, they have 3 cards and 4 mana in hand, so it's not terrible for us.
Yeah, there's still outs. Necro being one of them. Saga? Okay.
Well,
Grim?
now they have 6, so they're going to be able to outcome or whatever.
Jewel again, yeah. Nope, nothing. They have Hardcast Force open.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking they were keeping up. All right, I would just leave Flooded Strand. And then, I mean, maybe play out your Moxen just to represent Hardcast Force because the Moxes and, well, Mox and Lotus
Yeah.
don't really signify anything.
Now let's just pass the turn and hope that
So
they
we need
draw
to
dead.
fade them having any card in their deck with text,
Yep.
and we need to surveil land into Runner. But I mean, they had turn 1 Tinker with Force Will backup.
Yeah.
Like you'd have Vintage. God, 5 years ago I would be throwing something, but whatever. Like it's a solid hand. It happens.
Yep.
It feels real good when you're on that side of the table. Let's be real. Like,
And we have a good, like, generally, we just have a really solid matchup versus them, anyways. So I'm not really afraid of them.
it would be better if we were playing Null Rod, which is another card that in Midland Brandon Adams plays. But I'm not sold on Null Rod for this matchup. Okay, now it's probably sunk. We can play it to see where it goes, but I mean they're drawing 3 cards, and they have near infinite mana.
Yeah, let's see if they whiff. There's always a chance they whiff. Oh, it's looking like they're whiffing a bit.
I mean, they probably do have the hard cast Forcewell, and at this point, maybe 2.
Do we?
Because I mean,
So
they
that's
have
the thing.
yeah,
If we fetch and show our surveil land, they know that we're on a combo deck.
they probably are not going to change their game plan because they're one of the fastest decks in the format.
Do you think it's still worth to surveil?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think we need to go from near 0 to slightly above 0.
I think the best card for that is Necropotence.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, we need to hit something here that has text. Thoughtseize would actually be really good. Days would be no text, obviously.
That's getting bottomed.
Well, yeah, getting milled for sure. What are they waiting on?
Okay.
And they just must have a stop there. Well, and that basically has no text either. So,
I think we just concede and go next.
I mean, I think we should play it out. We've got 21 minutes on our clock,
Okay,
so
that's fair. We can always dress down
weirder things have happened.
We can always
I
dress
once
down their
watched
token, right?
I once watched a kid that couldn't have been more than 13 play a turn 1 Raging Goblin in a vintage side event at Gen Con against a prominent, at the time, vintage player playing Workshop. This was like 06 maybe. And literally the Workshop deck didn't draw anything. And the Raging Goblin poked him for like 19 turns plus 1 City of Brass. So weirder things have happened. You have the dress down.
Do I dress
Mind
down
you, they're gonna
now?
I would just wait to see what they get. It really does not matter. If they have that counter spell, they're just going to use it. I mean, their game plan's probably to just beat you down with these. Probably going to get the top right now. Oh, they have the key. Okay.
And they have the Time Vault.
I mean, I would dress down just to, see. They have 3 cards. They probably have the Force of Will. You could draw Force of Will, Ritual Force of Will. Or Force of Negation off the Lotus. Make them have it,
Cancel. I need to crack the Lotus first, right?
You can. I think you can target the time. It's been a while since I've played MTGO, but I think you can target the Time Vault and then pay mana.
Hey, okay. We have a game still.
And they had another Workshop, so they have 2 cards. And they don't have a threat. Necro off the top. Preordain. It's not Necropotent, but those can both bottom. Funny enough, you actually can hard cast the pack.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're just going to say that. Let's make them earn it.
Yep.
I mean, we're basically kicking out of their finisher right now to use the wrestling reference that I used earlier.
Oh, we definitely just play this. Now, what's your opinion on deck thinning? I love it. I believe always thin your deck.
Yeah, I mean, there's times, depending on what the game state's like, where I'll sit on the Misty just in the off chance of finding Brainstorm, because the upside of Brainstorm is better than thinning. But in this game state, the only reason I might not is because I put both Island and Lotus Petal on the bottom.
So would you fetch here?
I think you're fetching to thin one source, but you're putting 2 blanks from your bottom, so I'm not very good at the math. I would probably not in this instance.
Okay. Now we play a Tarn. Okay. Now we might start thinning.
Yeah, at this point it's 2-2, and obviously there's a lot more math to it, but I probably would, and
yeah,
they're thankfully drawing dead. They have a lot more hits than we do, especially considering Doomsday just doesn't just kill them on the spot. But funny enough, we are actually at the point where we could Doomsday and back it up with packs and still pay for it and kill them on our Doomsday swing back.
Yep.
Which is real funny. Jeez. Well, we have 1 more land we can fetch.
Yep. No, we have 2 more lands. We have another sea and another and the
Oh yeah, we do
island.
have 1 more sea. You're right. I missed that. All of these dang lands look the same.
But we have a game. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, we don't have a game, which is why we're still playing. Yeah, anything they cast, I pass this. Yeah.
You'll counter this?
Yeah, I think you have to, because they'll draw 1 card, then they'll draw 2. They have the key as well, so they'll draw 3 cards right now. Then next turn they'll just bury us. They'll. Affect that. Yeah, so affect that before.
Do we Dark Ritual to help pay?
I wouldn't. Because if you draw the Doomsday, like, you can still pay. Like, I would just probably just pay for it. There's no reason. You're just discarding a card in your hand when you give them the ability to think you have another counter spell.
So I need to hit OK and then pay for impact.
Yeah, correct.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yes.
The unfortunate part is even with thinning our deck, we have so many dead magic cards, like
Like these.
rituals or Flusterstorms, Days. Obviously, Lotus, Sapphire. Well, Lotus is in the graveyard. Sapphire, Lotus Petal. They're tapping 8. So, are they playing Emrakul? Oh, they have the outcome.
I think that outcome.
Yeah, now I would right click concede if they cast outcome. Yeah, I would just right click concede. It's over.
Draw a card. Ah. Begin
Yeah, draw
sideboard.
3 more. I'm curious.
Oh, crap.
If that would. All right,
My
no issues.
bad.
All right, so against outcome workshop, I'm going to take out the street race because I'm not trying to be faster than them. I'm going to take out the days because they play so much artifact mana.
Yep.
And I take out dress down just because the off chance that you're actually doing something that interacts with them. The chain of vapor I keep in just in case they are still playing Trinisphere, and then also because you can interrupt the jewel like with Metamorph. And because we just don't have enough. And then I bring in both Sheldreds and the Force of Negation.
So you do not bring in the Hercules recall.
No, because if you're Herculesing anything that they have in play, they've already drawn cards off of it, so it's kind of like a moot point.
Fair.
The
Okay.
awkward part is that they do play Metamorph, so they can Metamorph your Sheldred.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I think you're completely fine just sitting there because you only realistically have to draw like 1 or 2 cards to kill them off of Doomsday anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, it's not perfect, but
And it's bad.
you have not had an opening hand of 7 that he's had a mana source in.
No. I mean, we have double force. We could keep.
You have to throw it back. You
Throw it
can't.
back.
Let's think about this. Duck is useless. You could preordain to try and hit something. Then, in theory, you have a mystical for demonic into dark ritual, oracle consultation, but that needs a little bit of help. You're basically stone dead to anything. You could consult into a force will to protect yourself from a turn 1.
Yeah. So I think we preordain play the Lotus Petal consult if we have to.
I think that that's your play, and you probably put back the duck or the mystical tutor, maybe the ritual. But I feel like the ritual is the one way you're coming out of this. But you do have mystical for recall, so maybe you do bin the ritual and just, hope that they're not gonna essentially go off on you.
I'm down to do that.
Yeah, I mean, you need some help anyway here on a Mulda 6, but I feel like this 6 is better than anything you'll get at 5.
Yeah. Preordain.
Oh, or you just hit that.
Yeah, but we need a land, right? Well, I guess we would consult for an underground sea. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true.
Or what do we do here? Do we take I think we top, and if we have to consult for a forcible, we do it.
Yes, but in that instance, I probably top the Doomsday and then the Dark Ritual, so I at least have Doomsday in my hand. So if I hit land, you can dust into Doomsday, and you have the mystical tutor to tutor for a Doomsday if necessary, or a ritual rather if necessary.
See what they got. They just play a 1 ring. I'm fine with that.
Oh, even better. If they're doing defense grid Pass? I think you just have them, right?
Yes. Because, so what, we draw
Barring your consult
doesn't screw
being
us.
bad, you draw the ritual, you consult for the underground sea, you ritual Doomsday, and then you gush.
Yep.
And they have nothing. So the only chance you lose is, in my opinion, is if you mill both your Thassos before you hit an underground sea.
Yep. See.
And you
Then,
milled 11 cards.
and only one of them was a Thassa's Oracle. We lost our Black
Perfect.
Lotus, but that's fine because we now have Petal as well.
Yeah, you can put the pedal back in your stack.
Yeah, so we need to crack this Petal is the big thing.
So, yes, you do.
So we'll just crack this Petal ahead of time so we don't mess up.
Yep, you put the Lotus pedal back in. So this is another game where the Lotus pedal actually matters. I mean, you could put Sapphire in your pile too, actually.
Well, no, we're gonna have to put both into the pile for sure.
Not
Right?
necessarily, because you can dust into Sapphire Time Walk and then like put the street race. Well, we boarded out the race, didn't we? Yeah, we boarded out the race, but you can put if you didn't mill it, yeah, you milled Gataxian Probe.
And our Lotus. So wait. Well,
You
wait.
could put the fetch land
Wait, we
and
just
the
do Gush, Ancestral. So we Gush into Ancestral Petal. Or, no, sorry. Yeah, we Gush into Ancestral Petal, Ancestral into Sapphire Oracle, and we hide something, right?
well, you played your land this turn, which is the problem, so you can't replay it.
So we have to get Petal, Sapphire, Oracle off of our recall. So we need to hide a card that we don't want them to see.
Well, if you gust it, well, hold on. You can gust into recall Sapphire
Petal Oracle.
Petal, gust into recall Sapphire, recall into Petal Oracle and Pact, even though you don't need it,
I think we put a Shieldred in there
just to hide one.
just to hide one.
Okay. I mean, yeah. I mean, at this point, it's really just making sure you get the fastest Oracle mana. There's a million piles because the defense grid means they can't interact with you. Just make sure you get the Lotus Petal.
Okay. So we have Lotus Petal, Ancestral, Sapphire, Shieldred, Thassa's Oracle. So we're
You're
gonna
drawing your whole stack. This is the standard Gust pile from back in like 2012, right? Where you just gush into Ancestral and draw exactly your pile.
Mm-hmm. We'll hit done. And then the main cards that matter is Ancestral on top. So it will be Shieldred, Sapphire, Oracle, Petal, Recall.
I mean, your opponent made this a lot easier actually by playing Defense Grid.
Yes, they did. Ancestral us.
And this is again a game where that Lotus Petal matters.
Yes, we could not have won this without Lotus Petal. Trigger. Woo.
I feel like we stole one there.
Nah. Doomsday. Doomsday's the best. Is there anything that you want to change now that we see that they're running grid?
I mean, the Thoughtseize that's in the main gets a lot better with the Defense Grid.
Yeah. But you still have.
Probably not. Maybe you could bring in Hercles, but I don't really care about grid because my hope is that they go grid and we just kill them, right?
Yep. Okay, then let's submit the deck. Okay, let's see if they mull and let's see if we can keep a 7.
Hey, we can keep the 7.
Yeah, I'm down to keep.
We're keep this 7.
They also kept their 7, So
You have double counter spell and you have a Doomsday.
okay, well that's
Yeah,
gonna
so
get
like,
forced.
and
Pitching.
I'm probably pitching Flusterstorm just because that's not really going to matter. Like, you keep it in because they play Force of Wolves, right? But it's not great.
Yeah.
And you do another land. So in this case, I am passing the turn, surveilling, hoping to hit a blue card, assuming they don't have a backup,
Yep.
or hoping to hit a cantrip if they do have a backup, so that I can kill them straight up off of Doomsday.
Mm-hmm. That's fine.
Cool. Yeah, I'm a big fan of never countering mana, unless it's like Black Lotus on turn 1.
Sure, they're just
Okay,
gonna
so they're copying
copy.
Monolith. My guess is they're setting up like an Opal or an Academy into a outcome hand or Jewel, which, okay, I would surveil first because this is only drawing two cards, so not super scary. But I kind of want to set up first to see, like, okay, where am I going? Okay, so you're bottoming that. And then I'm more interested in just letting them draw 2 cards because they're going to draw 2 cards. They're going to replay their Monolith, but they have to hit Sapphire, Lotus, Lotus Petal, or
Yeah.
like a lot of mana in order to do something. I'm not scared of them having essentially 4 cards plus 2 Monoliths in hand when they've already played their land.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still hoping to draw a blue card and kill them with Force Will backup.
We did not. So what would you say you would like to do here?
I still think I am fetching and playing Dark Ritual Doomsday and just making them have something, right? And I'm not going to preordain to try and kill them because I'd be more interested in passing the turn. And well, if it resolves, maybe I do preordain because they could just have stone nothing, but they could have Mindbreak Trap plus 4. And the Doomsday resolve.
Okay. What if we just did Gush, Time Walk, Thoughtseize, Oracle, and we just pass the turn?
All right, so if we do that, you have Forceful backup. They have a Grim Monolith and 4 unknowns, but they have Tolarian Academy.
Yep.
You're going to replay your Underground Sea. I mean,
And we have the pedal as well to kind of help as well.
yeah, I think that's fine. But if I do that, I'm playing the pedal.
This turn?
Not that this deck ever plays Flusterstorm, but like, I don't want to walk into like a Mindbreak Trap or anything.
Yep. Okay.
Plus the
So
awkwardness of them playing a spell, you force that they Flusterstorm for. I mean, I guess it would be for 3 anyway, so it doesn't matter.
the Gush, Time Walk, Oracle.
All right, so if you Gush and then Time Walk, you're going to have Oracle with 1 card left. Okay, so I was wondering if there's a chance to draw the entire pile and put another counterspell in this. But I think that you're right, and just Oracle and make them have it.
Where's Thoughtseize? Do we cut the
It's in
Thoughtseize?
between Thassa's Oracle and Time Walk.
Okay. So we're gonna Gush into Time Walk Thoughtseize, Oracle.
Yeah.
So Oracle, Thoughtseize, Time Walk, Gush. Play our pedal.
Is there a world where we preordain right now and just make them have it versus us having it?
Yeah, I would.
Are we playing too timid?
No, I don't think we're too timid. I think we're fine
I mean, the
with
end
doing
result is
this.
exactly the same if they have Forceful there. It's
Mhm.
awkward because of the Tolarian Academy,
Yeah.
but
Another workshop. Metamorph's
the Metamorph,
fine.
we knew about that. Okay, so they have the outcome. And obviously, if they have a counter spell, it gets real awkward for us.
We
But
definitely force this. Technically, they could hardcast force as well.
yeah, we gave them the opportunity of drawing Force of Will, but I think that this is just,
Yeah,
they could have another outcome too.
that's true.
But again, if they have another outcome, they're drawing 3. So obviously it's scary, but they played their land, which they didn't have to do and shouldn't have done.
Otawara bouncing the monolith? Or bouncing the
They're
Phyrexian
bouncing
Metamorph?
the Metamorph. Yeah, bouncing the Metamorph so that they could probably replay it and get the Grim Monolith untapped. So they might copy the Lotus Petal. Okay, that's the Monolith.
Eating the blue
And,
mana?
and
Interesting.
they have one card in hand, so unless it's Mindbreak Trap, which I think you're insulated against because of the Thoughtseize.
Yep. So blue, blue. Let's gush.
So here's the awkward thing: is your land's the Surveil land. So I think you just want to, you played the wrong land. Just Time Walk. I would just Time Walk because the only card they can have that messes you up is Mindbreak Trap.
Well, we get
So
to
don't even bother with it.
Thoughtseize and Time Walk this turn.
Oh yeah, you have 2 blue floating. Yeah. I'm just counting wrong.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, they're done. I feel like these 2 games have definitely shown the power of both the Sewers and the Lotus Petal, right?
Yep. And if we want, we could just play the
I
Sewers.
mean, I wouldn't even bother. I would just end it.
Yep.
The thing that's awkward is really, I'm still torn on if we actually pass the turn because they untap with the Academy and they draw an extra card. We probably should have preordained. I think I'm too much of a control player at heart, but it worked out for us.
Yeah.
But they're on the play.
Yeah, round number 3, they're on the play. I would keep this, right?
I would keep it against an unknown. It's going to be very awkward if they're playing like mono white.
Well, if
But
they're playing mono white, I'm not just snap force something.
yeah, absolutely.
Okay, yeah, we'll
This
keep.
is definitely better than the 7s you had in those previous 2 games.
Yeah.
And you won both of those.
Okay, I'm forcing this.
Yeah, snap counter spell that.
What do we get rid of? Flusterstorm?
Sleight of hand.
Sleight of hand?
Yeah, I'm not convinced that they're mono white just off of Lotus. But exiling Lotus is huge.
Yeah. Okay.
And they might be bug or oath.
Yeah.
So now you have Flusterstorm to protect against like a recall. Obviously, if they have it in their upkeep, it's bad. But
You just play this. We have Fluster, we have Force, and then we have Surveil if needed.
I was just gonna say, if they do nothing, you know what I'm gonna recommend. This is their upkeep, right? I'm kind of okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it was going by kind of fast. Oh.
Okay. So now if they oath, I'm into Brainstorm first to see if I can set up a Necropotence, because if you can resolve a Necropotence, even if they resolve Oath, I'm convinced that the 7 we keep off Necropotence could even beat a Atraxa.
So you wouldn't force with Fluster back.
Oh, I would, but I'm just saying I brainstorm just to see what I can set up before I force, because you might find a blue card you want to remove more. You could try and set up Necropotence. It just gives you more information before you force.
But then we
And
don't
what
have
I'm saying is
Fluster
even
back up for the Oath if they have a Force.
yeah, that's why like it's iffy, but I want to set up Necropotence.
Okay, so you
Like
think
I'm really interested in. I think Necropotence can beat their Oath even if it resolves.
Okay.
And they have 4 cards in hand, so what's the odds of them having essentially anything? Oh, see, and you're gonna set up so I would just put both effect lines back because it doesn't matter. And then obviously now you force
Pitch Fluster.
Pitch Fluster. All right, and then draw.
I think we lead with recall.
I'm probably running out with Necro.
Really?
Necroing for like 8, and then setting up a really solid 6 plus Ancestral, so that on their upkeep I can go up to 8 cards or 9.
My fear is I think they have a Force negation. So if we run off with Ancestral first, they're likely to counter that, and then we Necro.
Sure, that's a consideration, but if they do have Force negation, you still have Ancestral. So it really just matters if you value the Necro or the Ancestral more. I mean, you might be right on the Ancestral. I'm not worried that their 4 cards are really strong.
Well, we definitely fetch because we don't want that.
Yeah, I don't get the Surveil land here. I get another Underground Sea.
What you got here? Okay, nothing. I'm down to recall.
I'm down for the recall play. You convinced me because of the Force negations. Again, I'm a control player at heart, so okay, that was not great. But the good news is you got 2 Doomsdays. Well, one can get discarded to the Necro. Against Oath, I'm for sure casting Necro here, though.
Yeah.
And since you have a Doomsday, my rule of thumb when playing Necro and Doomsday is always go to a odd number.
Yep. So we can draw.
I would probably draw 9 here because 9, yeah.
We just go to 9 life. I wish you could put in a number.
Yeah, it would be much easier. Unfortunately, they programmed this to do exactly how the card is worded.
Which is fair, because you can interact in between the triggers.
Yeah, what's interesting is there is a situation where you can actually use Necro to mill yourself, so you can just cast like you can cast Doomsday to just get yourself to 5, play a Thassa's Oracle out of hand, and then use Necro.
Did I miss an attack? I thought. Oh, I guess I never clicked on the attacker itself.
Yeah, your attack doesn't matter. You're playing. Right click this, by the way. I'll show you a trick. You can right click and you can yield to trigger. So always yield.
Okay.
See, because I figured you would hit 1 or 2 extra lands. So in this instance, you're immediately binning the Watery Grave, because Watery Grave does 2, whereas your fetch land does 1.
Yep.
You're immediately binning 1 of your fetch lands, and you're immediately binning 2 of these Doomsdays. And what's awkward is you didn't hit a Force of Will, but it's irrelevant.
Can we just get rid of the jet? I think we get rid of the jet, and next turn we're going to Demonic Consultation Thassa's Oracle. And if they counter that, then we proceed with drawing more cards.
So hold on, because you have the Time Walk. So if they counter that, you Time Walk, draw more cards, and then you can Doomsday. I'm into getting rid of the Ponder, actually, because you don't have a Force Will or anything to...
Oh, okay. I didn't even see the Ponder. So wait, how do we Time Walk in a turn?
Because you have the land. Oh yeah, because you don't have a ritual. Yeah, I'm looking at the Doomsday thinking one's a dark ritual because
I think we still get rid of the Ponder though.
Yeah, I think so too.
And then I would hit always yield to this. And
yeah, correct.
Okay. It's their turn.
The dig through time is essentially our reset button if things go really bad.
Yep.
I'm almost into just playing land and time walking and trying to set up with like 3 life or 2 life left and trying to set up a win with like just through their counter spells. But now they tapped out for Oath. I'm guessing they have stone nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, you have everything in your hand, so you could consult for a ritual Doomsday Time Walk, but I think
we could just lead with Time Walk and draw more cards.
I'm in the lead with Time Walk. Because you're not going to die to the 7/7. You're going to die to the 10 cards they see.
Yep.
They don't even play the jet.
You just play...
Because they tapped out, I'm just going to play Flooded Strand, play Time Walk.
Okay. Now I think we still play.
You play the Jet and you fetch for the Surveil land. Just because the Surveil land allows you to mill one of your Necropotences.
Potentially see a counter magic. Yeah.
Put on the graveyard, and then play the Jet and probably draw 5 here, because you're really just going for a Force of Will or a Flusterstorm or a Pact, because with 4 cards in hand, they haven't interacted with you. My guess is, unless they're sandbagging double counterspell, that they have 0 to 1 max. So I'm interested in, going down and trying to hit a Force of Will. I might even go to 3 here. Like, between 5 and 3.
So just stop right here. You said
I'll go 1 more deep.
Then
I might as well just hit them.
Yep.
Send the message. Send the message that their orchards aren't free.
Yeah. Okay. The Demonic Tutor finds us counter magic, and then we also have preordained.
I was just gonna say I would probably keep the.
I think
at this point, I just get rid of the 2. I'd get rid of the 2 lands, or the land in the preordain maybe, and because you have now
to draw into the pile.
Well, you can dig, you can demonic for Pact, and you can still Thoracle Time Walk. So I'd probably play Lotus and just cast Dig to try and, make my near 0% to lose an actual 0% to lose.
Okay. Crack Black Lotus for blue?
Yeah, crack Black Lotus for blue. Play Dig off that. Because you don't need the Lotus. It's just there for 3 mana, right?
Yeah. So let's get rid of Dark Ritual. Let's get rid of Delta, Force, Fluster, Force, B.
Yeah, irrelevant essentially at this point. But obviously you do want to think about that.
Big thing was to leave the Ancestral and the Black Lotus in there.
So that gives them something to think about.
Yep. Fluster Days.
Fluster. I would probably take Fluster Days here. The other option is Fluster plus Probe, because you can still Demonic Tutor.
Yep.
But I mean, shit. Sorry, excuse my language. I probably still Demonic Tutor for the Pact here, and just. Well, no, because if you Demonic Tutor for the Pact, you don't have Flusterstorm up.
Yeah, I think we just now
maybe just Preordain just to go 1 deeper since you have the mana. Like, there's literally no reason not to try to hit.
Well, this doesn't really do anything for us.
I mean, it's another counter spell in theory, but in practice it's not. So
yeah, we'll just bottom both.
Yeah, try to hit another Flusterstorm. Or that Pact, I guess, or another Oracle.
Okay, so let's.
I mean, I guess Storm wouldn't do anything because you were down mana anyway. But yeah, this game's for sure over.
Thassa's Oracle.
Priority. Oh wait, no, because it's a trigger on the stack. Never mind.
Yeah.
I'm so used to all the lab man and other shenanigans.
Then. They were sandbagging this entire time.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Now, if we bring up
again. Oh, yeah, let's bring that up again.
The Mystical Street Wraith and Island come out, and we want to bring in Dress Down Surgical Force Negation?
Yeah, so I bring in the Surgical just because if the game goes long, I can hit like a Force of Will. If you counter Show and Tell, you can hit the Show and Tells. You could get an Oath with it. You can use it on end step to see their hand, so I think it's non-zero. I bring in Dress Down because obviously you don't really care about a 7/7 as much if they don't have the ability. And I bring in the Force of Negation because they're essentially a combo deck. I board out the island even though they're playing Strip Mine because they're not a Wasteland deck. That's something that I do against a lot of combo decks because I don't ever want to have an island in my opener and have them, you know, island CC into Doomsday is obviously not good, or Necro. So I always like to maximize my black sources.
What is your opinion on leaving in the island and cutting a ritual sometimes? I think that's what
I
I
think
was doing.
that is definitely doable, but I think the way you beat Oath a lot of times is just be better than them and faster than them, because if you think about it, they have, granted they have show and tells, but in theory all of their Atraxes are somewhat dead draws. They feel forcibles and whatnot.
Yep.
But their Atraxes are essentially dead draws. Their show and tells are dead draws if they don't have an Atraxa. Their ults are dead draws. Their Okos are dead draws. Like, they have a lot of things that have very little text against you.
Do you think
And
we need
that's
to leave in
why,
the
like,
Chain of Vapor though?
so I'm going to leave in the chain just to hedge against something stupid in the sideboard that they might have.
Okay.
And also just because it does bounce an Oath, so it's a time walk if they do Orchard Mox Oath and you have Chain of Vapor. It's definitely not great, but I think it's better than the island.
Okay. So we're getting Street Wraith Mystical Island for Dress Down, Surgical Force.
Yeah, and I board out the Mystical Tutor against all of these blue decks that could potentially play a multitude of Flusterstorms, just because obviously getting Ancestor Recall is very good.
I think we
But
keep this hand.
it stands bananas. I mean, I'd like that Force of Negation to be a Force of Will,
Yeah.
but
Another Doomsday off the top would be nice.
a Flusterstorm, a Force of Will,
Yeah.
Thoughtseize would probably be the best thing to draw off the top, because Thoughtseize gives you Carpet of Flowers. Interesting.
That's cute. Okay. To just maximize a bunch of mana?
Yeah, I don't think that's going to work well for them, but okay, so what is our stack? Can we kill them off of the Preordain?
100%. So we go Underground Sea, Black Lotus, Dark Ritual, Crack Black Lotus for blue, Dark Ritual, Doomsday, and then we preordain.
Oh, you put the Ancestor Recall pile in there.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I figured I could figure that out, but all right. So Lotus for 3 blue, Sea for 3 black. You use the 3 black to cast Doomsday.
Yep.
You preordained a 2 blue. That draws Recall. Your stack would be Recall, Pact probably, Daze, and since you have the Oracle, the first Oracle can get picked to Force. You have Force of Negation as well, so it doesn't really matter.
Well, so we would.
So your stack is like Recall, Pact, Daze, Lotus, Oracle, maybe, because you recall into Pact, Daze, Lotus, and then you have a backup Oracle, but you don't have a blue mana to protect it with Pact plus Daze.
So we would just
mean,
put a Sapphire instead of the other Lotus, right? To have the permanent blue source.
yeah, that would work too. I mean, realistically, we're hoping to kill them on the first go, right? Like, if we have to go with the second Oracle, and obviously if we were to remove this Thassa's Oracle, like let's say we didn't have the Force Negation and we were forced to remove the first Oracle, our stack would look different. But
yeah,
the second Oracle,
and we force pitch Negation, right?
Yeah, I would force pitch. Oh man,
I think we just force pitch Negation.
Here's the question: do we force pitch Thassa's Oracle in the off chance they have a Mindbreak Trap, and then we can hard cast Force and Negation into a pass the turn pile?
We could do that. So force pitch Oracle.
I think that is the play, because we force pitch Oracle, have Force and Negation backup, and if we have to use the Force and Negation and don't have mana to continue, then we set a pass the turn pile, obviously.
So do we? Well, then do we want to keep the get rid of the preordain then?
We keep the preordain because if the
If we
Force
resolve.
of Will resolves, if they don't have something back, we can still win the game this turn.
Okay.
So my guess is if they have Mind Break Trap, they would use it right here. They don't, so let's go and win the game.
Recall, Oracle, Pact,
Sapphire.
Sapphire.
And I think I threw Days in there because...
Yeah. Gotta find that card. Okay, so we're gonna...
You preordain in the recall, you recall into Days, Sapphire, Pact. Oh, in this case, you probably put the Days on the bottom, actually, and because you have to recall into the Thoracle.
Well, no, so we still need another blue mana is the thing. So yeah, Days just goes on the bottom.
Preordain uses 1, Recall uses 1, and you draw the Sapphire, so you go back up to 2. So I think you put the Days on the bottom, and you recall into Sapphire, Pact, Oracle.
And just hope we win.
Well, yeah, that's probably what I would do. Obviously, if they're sandbagging the counter spell, this looks really bad. But honestly, if they're sandbagging the counter spell,
then
the game goes on a little longer.
Yeah. We'll hit done.
Yeah, because the Days isn't perfect, but it is essentially a 0 mana counter spell for your backup turn.
So it's Days.
Pact. Sapphire. Or Oracle. Either way, because if they do counterspell your recall,
I think it's
you
Oracle.
have to spend a turn drawing the Sapphire. Yeah, I think so too. And then you preordain. Oh, they're F6, so they have nothing. Put that on top, put the recall on top. And then recall. Obviously, if they're playing a 1 of misdirection, that would be awkward.
That'd be hilarious, and I would be so excited.
It's always the 61st card for me. Even at Eternal Weekend, I cut it the morning of.
Okay, nice.
I have not missed a street race. I mean, obviously, it's a small sample size, but
we haven't really needed it.
Looking good.
Round number 4, we're on the play. So, yes, I would like to go first. I feel like this does nothing, but we could just time walk and then see what happens and see if and then surveil, right?
I don't know if I would keep this, but I do like the surveil land. We do have the Force Will Thassa's Oracle. We do have mana. It's game 1. I say keep.
A cat. So
they haven't shown a cat.
I say we keep it, and just because we can potentially like their turn to a Doomsday with 3 Cs. So yeah. I'm down to keep. It's not the best.
It is not the best, but I'm interested.
With a Force in hand, it's not bad. See if they decide to maul.
The name looks familiar to me as somebody I should have recognized from probably Justin Denari's stream. But
would you fetch the Thin here first?
I would play the fetch land. I would play the Sapphire.
And then time walk?
And then I'd probably, because the Thassa's Oracle is basically a blank blue magic card, I probably do time walk. And then hope to not draw a land or a ritual, right?
Yeah.
Even a Doomsday or a Necropotent has text eventually. So I'm probably time walking and hoping to draw. You know, obviously best case would be one of the broken blue cards, but even like a Preordain wouldn't be bad. Even Dush, something, but we're gonna untap and have a Delta in play for a Surveil land plus Force Will blue card.
I like that.
It hurts us by saying that we didn't want to draw mana, but we have all the mana we need now.
Do
we just need a fade ritual. I mean, it does keep It does keep Hardcast Force up. It also keeps away from Flusterstorm if they have like some combo play plus Flusterstorm. gets awkward if they play some sort of null rod variant, but honestly, if they null rod, you have enough mana that you probably just let it resolve if they're like the workshop null rod deck.
Yep. Okay.
And I mean, the other nice thing is Lotus might incentivize them to play the null rod if they're playing the workshop deck, when in reality, obviously it's better against you than normal Doomsday due to Lotus Petal, but null rod itself is the smallest of speed bumps. Or they do that, removing endurance of all things.
Okay,
Cool.
so they're playing bug.
Let it happen.
That's fine. Yep.
Let it happen.
We still have triple
the
black.
endurance is telling me they're on bug, or
Yeah.
I mean, potentially they could be on something really weird. I guess I've seen the bug, in a basic forest.
It could be that elf deck that Justin likes. Collector Oof is fine.
2 of your 4 monsters already, or 2 of your 4 artifacts.
Yeah.
Cool. Get the surveil land. The only thing that concerns me is they're definitely playing some sort of wasteland variant. But I'm not incentivized to get islands at this point because I want to just hit a Doomsday or a Necropotent off of this Undercity sewer.
Yep.
Or even like Demonic Tutor. Yeah, you can probably put that in your graveyard. Oh, see? Undercity just milled that.
Got us a Doomsday faster.
They can't wasteland you out of the game, so this is probably a gush pile.
Gush.
Gush, Street Race, Oracle, Pack. Oracle, probably?
Would you just do Gush? Would you do Gush, Street Wraith, Time Walk, Oracle Pact?
I'm not even interested in casting the Time Walk here, but maybe. I mean, realistically, I just want to play Thassa's Oracle with Pact backup and hopefully this Force Will. Because they can't wasteland you out.
We could just try to double Oracle if they don't wasteland us.
We can't due to the Collector Oof, realistically.
No, we have 3 lands, so if we Gush, we float.
You're saying to Gush. Yeah, you're saying to Gush Thassa's Oracle.
Yeah, so we could Gush.
I mean, maybe. I'm not super concerned with needing the backup. What could they realistically do? I mean, they did show endurance, which is kind of awkward for.
Maybe we do Dress Down and Time Walk.
I mean, maybe set up a Time Walk pile. I definitely think it's Gush because I don't want to mindlessly walk into a mental misstep.
What if it's just Gush into Gush into Time Walk, Thassa's Oracle. We could do the Thoughtseize, and then another blue card, I guess.
I mean, I'm putting the Pact in there regardless.
You're putting the Pact in there regardless. Okay.
Yeah, just because it's there for this exact situation. You're going to Gush, you're going to return both Underground Seas with 2 blue floating. You're going to replay an Underground Sea. You're going to Time Walk. You're going to Thoughtseize them. Then you're going to draw Thassa's Oracle.
Yep. Okay.
No, because...
No, we'll have the Thassa's.
I mean, you have the Thassa's Oracle in hand, but you do want to stack this in a way where if you have to Force Will something, that Thassa's Oracle matters.
Yeah.
Maybe put the Days in instead of the Thoughtseize. I mean, you're not drawing.
Yeah, but then we might lose too many lands.
Every card.
Well, Thoughtseize would hit endurance.
I guess, yeah, the Gush draws 2. You have 2 left. You Time Walk. You have 1 card left with the Thassa's Oracle, so that last card really doesn't matter. I mean, maybe you just put another Doomsday in there, so if you have to Doomsday again, you can, but I don't think that last card matters.
So we draw for turn, we Gush into Time Walk.
Oh yeah, you draw for turn. For turn, you have 4 cards left.
Into packed? Or
So you
we
draw for
time walk
turn.
into yeah. Hmm.
You draw for turn. You dust.
Yep.
You dust into pack time walk.
Or Thoughtseize
You
time walk.
time walk, or yeah, I mean, yeah, you probably put the Thoughtseize in there. You time walk, and then you draw the Thassa's Oracle. I
Okay.
mean, either way, I think that both plays, that bottom card of your stack is irrelevant.
Yes, but we could even potentially like draw into the pack to go off again with like backup. So I think we can put packed on the bottom.
Yeah, and you're hiding the pact, which is important, right?
Yeah.
So
So we'll do packed, Thoughts' Oracle, Thoughtseize, time walk. And we just pass the turn. I really
and
think
weirdly enough, if they
Mhm.
have an endurance, I don't even think you force will it, because I think that an endurance would not really screw up your pile, right? The worst thing you could have is they have a wasteland into an endurance.
Yeah. Yeah, there's the wasteland, which is fine.
They have a forest, and they have not shown us anything but green cards. So,
Yeah.
well, that's the interesting thing here now is one of your lands you have to return is the Undercity, which doesn't matter. But
No.
my favorite saying this whole recording is apparently it's non-zero,
Yep.
right? Like it does have some sort of potential impact in games. Not this one, obviously, but
So we're gonna do
oh yeah, now it's just over. You just do blue, blue.
so
You just play you don't even time walk. You just play the Underground Sea, Thought Seize them, and then Thassa's Oracle them using the Force of Will or the time walk to feed the Force of Will.
yep.
Because you have two cards, and Thassa's Oracle, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe it says 2 or less in this case, right? Because it's
Mm-hmm.
equal to or less than. And then obviously, if they do have an endurance, you just Force of Will it.
Yeah. Plus we get to see what they're
Yeah,
on.
they have. Oh,
Ooh, they have
okay, so
mental
they have a
misstep.
misstep. So let the misstep happen, doesn't matter, and then kill them.
Yep. Okay. So
How are
they're
they?
I think they're Justin's Elves deck. So I don't
So
know how
I'm
to beat
assuming
that.
I've never seen it. I'm assuming that they're going to have a bunch of stuff like endurance,
And Mindbreak
like
Traps.
mind break traps. I'm actually interested in seeing this Murktide Regent, I think.
Are you interested in Opposition Agent? Because I bet you they're a Green Sun deck.
I'm interested in it just because it can splash into attack.
Yeah. I don't know about
Like,
Dress Down.
I would probably. See, I have no idea what they have. I've only seen Endurance, Mind Break Trap, Collector Roof, and Force of Vigor, right?
Yeah.
My guess is that they're playing 4 Collector Roof, so the Lotus Petals coming out.
Yep.
I'm probably bringing in the Cast Down, or the Cut Down, or whatever the hell that thing's called.
And what
And you
about
can
the
tell I have not played
Dismembers?
much Magic. I'm probably bringing in the Dismembers. I'm assuming that they have some sort of like combo piece.
Yeah.
The Force and Negations are for sure coming out, and the Flusterstorms are coming out. I'm probably keeping the Chain of Vapor just because, again, I have no idea
What
what they
there?
could bring in.
Should we try to get in this
Pithing Needle,
Tabernacle?
I would not bring the Tabernacle, but I would probably bring the Pithing Needle because of Wasteland, especially because you're going into that creatures.
Do we want Dress Down then?
Here's a wild suggestion.
Mm-hmm.
Surgical Extraction, just so that we can see what's in their deck in case we have to go to 3.
Okay. So how do we get in 2 more cards? Or take out 2 more cards? Do we want Dress
Only
Down?
bring in only bring in one of the dismembers and probably cut.
The stress one out?
Probably potentially cut the street race.
Or, okay.
I mean, we could cast it, weirdly enough, but I hate that card.
Preordain was also an option we could have cut. But...
Yeah, I like keeping Preordain before street race just because you see 2 cards, potentially 3. The same reason you and I have had conversations. Oh, man. We can't do it, but the greedy part of me really wants to.
Okay, I'm a
I have
mulligan.
no idea. I have no idea. They probably have like Spear or Thorn or something like that, so we can't keep Ancestor Recall blank.
Okay, we're gonna mull. I'd keep and bottom the Pact.
Yeah, the pack has no text.
Keep.
Like, I'm imagining that they have like a Thorn or, you know, a card that I actually really like is Damping Sphere, which I think doesn't get enough play. Void Mirror I've seen played in some of these weird decks.
I feel like they're gonna cast like an Allosaurus Shepherd here into something.
I'm guessing it's like a red.
Oh.
Okay. I don't even remember what that thing does, and I've been playing Legacy lately. I think it makes a boo, and then they can fling it at you or like sacrifice it or something to draw cards.
Yeah. Make it big. I guess I can always just kill it with cast down, right?
Yeah, absolutely. The plus is a sacrifice, but if I remember with Planeswalker, they plus and you can kill it in response. So like that would be huge if it works that way.
Yeah. Well, no, it's power, total power, and toughness.
Oh
5 or
yeah,
less.
I'm thinking.
So is this thing already too
Fatal. I'm
big
thinking
because
Fatal
it's...
Push.
Is this thing already too big because
Is
it's
it?
a
I think
4/4?
it just does it get counters? Is that how that works? Oh yeah, it gets counters. Interesting. All right.
I think
Probably.
Island Preordain.
Yeah, that's what I would start with.
Demonic
So
Consultation off the top?
they're a Ren and 6 deck. Yeah, blank. Bottom both of them. I mean, Mystical Tutor would be, that has text. They probably have Red Blasts in against you, which is awkward.
Yeah, but
Highlight
that
Mints can do for me. I'd like to see what the text is on that thing.
put 3+1 counters.
Oh, it gets counters, so he can just continuously pressure you if you don't do anything. Okay.
So do we... I don't think we can cast this Murktide because I don't think it will get big enough to even block.
I mean, we could still cast the Murktide to threaten the Minskin Boo, but yeah, we need some help and not dress down. Well, dress down doesn't do anything, but neither will Dismember. So we have to race this Minskin Boo.
So do we pass the turn though to do that?
Yeah, I mean, I think we passed the turn because the upside of drawing Demonic Consultation is worth sandbagging the Oracle, especially because we don't want to lose our Lotus for it. They have to be a Ren and 6 deck, right? They're representing Wasteland and red green.
Yeah. So they're gonna make a 7/7.
I mean, they might just draw 4 cards, but I think that making a 7/7 and threatening us with lethal next turn is the correct thing to do.
Mana Crypt, that's fine. Okay. What are they? They didn't plus it.
They have to be just like a red-green beatdown deck, I'd imagine, just based off the fact that they're playing Minskin Boo or red-green-blue, but they have not shown me anything that convinces me they're in blue.
Yep, and now they're gonna fling it at me. And draw 4 cards?
Even better. I mean, unless they're trying to get like a spear or something.
Which means that I can play this jet and potentially kill their Boo the next turn.
Yes, correct. And the Murktide can threaten the Boo, assuming they don't have Red Blast, which they probably do.
Yeah, they need to play a land. Nope, that's just a forest.
I would laugh hysterically if they just play a collector oof.
Simian Spirit Guide.
Blood
Okay.
Moon, maybe? Oh, Fable.
Fable. Interesting.
Interesting. Okay. This deck is wild. I like it. I dig it.
Okay. So do we is there a way to just play Thassa's Oracle and Murktide? Do we surgical them? I think we Dark Ritual, surgical, see their hand, pass down this thing, and play the Murktide and a Thassa's Oracle.
The Minskin Boo, I need to look up again.
So
Don't even highlight it up.
It will create it every turn, is the thing.
So they can create it every turn, and then they can make a 4/4. But your Murktide beats the 4/4 if we do this.
So do you think we just jet Dark Ritual, surgical to see what their hand is? Because we need to make as big as a Murktide as possible.
Yeah, that puts 2, 3 into there, 4 into there, so you can make a 7/7 Murktide, which kills their Minsk, and then pressures on a block for the Minskin Boo, or for the Boo rather.
And we can even play Thassa's Oracle this turn as well.
Yeah, to see what our setup is.
We're going like all in. We're playing our entire hand this turn.
Yeah, I think we have to, though. I think we're being pressured into it because they're going to draw and discard 2 right now on their next turn.
Yeah.
It doesn't get better for us. I really hate cut down on the Shaman, but considering they can...
Let's see what their hand is.
They can stop us from playing black. Like, it gets a little awkward. They probably have the misstep again. It would disturb us.
Scavenging Ooze, Minsk, Wasteland, Renin 6.
Yeah, so their hand has no relevant cards in it.
I think we kill this Shaman to turn off their red mana with the cut down.
I would agree with that entirely. Hold on 1 second, though. I'm just going to...
screenshot this.
Take a snippet. Yeah, I'm just taking a snippet of it so that I have that. All right, so...
2 Mindbreak Trap.
They have 2 Mindbreak Trap, 2 Pyroblast.
Bolt, double.
And they are a Green Sun deck. And 2 Veils, but the Veils don't do anything against you.
Yeah.
That are relevant. Okay. I mean, obviously they can, but they don't stop you from killing them.
Yep. So we'll hit
2 Caracas because they expected the Skeldred.
Yep.
4 Oof, the Chalice, 2 Bothejus. Okay, yeah. So take the Lotus. Don't forget to take the Lotus. Not that it matters, but
just good practice.
Okay. Then I think you're cutting down that thing no matter what. Especially because they have a backup Minsk. I mean, they're drawing 2 cards. They're going to hit a red mana source, but
potentially
it's going to make them discard. I mean, probably if they hit a fetch land. I think I'm interested in Thassa's Oracle first in this instance. Not that it matters either way. Oh, you don't have... Oh, yeah, there we go. I'm looking at your mana, not looking at your lands. Okay, yeah, I'd Thassa's first. You see 4 cards if you Murktide first, but I'd much rather... I mean, I guess, yeah,
I think we keep the Dismember, right?
I would keep the Dismember. Yeah, that was actually bad. We should have Murktide first because the Thassa's would have seen 4 cards, but I was thinking setting up a combo turn.
So we get rid of everything to make... so we'll have a 7/7, which doesn't seem bad. I think we just leave the land in the yard and just eat the remaining of our mana so we could potentially dig through time.
Yes, I would agree with that. I would agree with that entirely. We should have played the Murktide first to look at 4 cards. That's just me thinking Thassa's Oracle is 2 and forgetting it has the domain mechanic.
I
or not
also
domain, but
definitely forgot as well.
not domain. What's the stupid thing called? I can't remember. The one where it's equal to the blue.
Yeah, equal to blue.
So I mean, you even have the Thassa's Oracle's basically a wall at this point, right? They can't attack, mind you. I mean, they still draw 2 off of the Fable.
Yeah, and
but you can pressure. You can pressure the Minsk.
They're exiles. Oh, I
Yeah.
guess they're doing their Fable trigger. Yep. Okay. So
Yeah, they're drawing. Yeah. You pressure their Minsk. They have a backup Minsk, so we have to be very cautious of that.
If they can't get this,
and we also
off.
have. Yeah, see, they discarded Wasteland plus Ren, so they probably hit red mana.
Yep.
Curious that they kept the Scavenging Ooze.
Can they kill me this turn? They can make it a 4/4, and then they can fling it, maybe?
They can't because putting the counters on it and the fling are both the same ability, or both off the same Planeswalker. So, I mean, I guess they could make it a 4/4, then cast a backup Minsk. The hell does that thing do? Whenever it attacks, you discard a card. When you do, put a 1/1 counter on it. It gains trample. When you discard, you exile the top card and you can cast it. Interesting.
Okay.
That's fine.
Let that resolve.
Okay, so they make their Minsk 4/4.
Yep.
If it attacks,
Just gonna
you
play
can
the
block it.
Scavenging Ooze, I'm guessing.
Yeah, it's got the Ooze.
Oh, Green Sun for
Green
1?
Sun's for 2.
Is it 2 or 1?
Yeah, they had 1 floating from the Mana Crypt.
Elector Oof? Ooh. Nah, now we take 2 damage from our thing. Are we... I think we're just dead. Right?
So you untap, right? You draw Dismember.
Yeah.
Minsk and Boo is legendary, so if they play the second one, it's legendary. So they're probably going to plus on 1. You're going to have to Dismember in response to the plus. Then they play the second Minsk and Boo, attack you for 5. You have to block one of them, and you took 4. But if you don't pressure the Minsk, they could just fling a different creature at you. Yeah, you're just dead.
Okay.
We should have played the Murktide first. That was me just being dumb.
Okay, so now that we know what their deck is, do we want to go faster?
They're playing, realistically, they have a bunch of Planeswalkers that matter. They have Green Suns, and then they're just playing a bunch of creatures that don't matter and Chalice. So I don't think I'm in on 3/4 of negations, but I'm definitely in on a couple of them.
Okay.
Because I'm interested in countering Mana Crypt and Black Lotus.
Yep.
I'm not going to counter Sapphire, Emerald, or Ruby, but I am going to counter Mana Crypt. I am going to counter Lotus. I mean, they do play 7 or 8 Spirit Guides, which is interesting because they have Elder Spirit Guides as well. So I would cut Days. I would cut the Thoughtseize because realistically, we should be able to play through anything that they're playing.
Leave in... They'll keep out the Street Wraith and leave in the creatures?
I'm probably bringing... am I bringing the Wraith back in? The Chain of Vapor does have some value.
Yeah.
Against an Oof if we need to. A Chalice, they're going to Chalice at 1 anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess technically against a Tarmogoyf or against even a Finskin Boo or a Wren.
Not bad. Okay.
I mean, I think we're set with this. Like, yeah, we're just going to be faster. I mean, you lost to a turn 1 4-mana Planeswalker.
Is this dress down good? I don't think this dress sounds that good.
I mean, it blanks a Tarmogoyf, it blanks Collector Oof. It can blank. That's basically it. I mean, they do have 1 endurance. They probably, if they have more, bring them in.
Yeah.
Like, is it great? No, but it's a cantrip. Maybe board it out and bring the Street Race back in.
Fit the deck. Yes, we just want a strong hand. This is not that strong of a hand.
I think we could do better. Like, it's a bunch of strong cards, but yeah, like I said, we could do better.
I think we bottom.
I think we bottom the Thassa's Oracle, just hoping that we don't have to Force the Will, and then we actually go Watery Grave Path and hope that they're going to do like a fetch land or a Green Suns, and we can get them with this Oppo agent.
Yep. So.
And then if we don't, because they have a misstep and they have 2 Pyroblast, at least last game.
Yep.
That can counter this recall.
So I'm 2 Mindbreak Traps.
Well, the Mindbreak Traps aren't going to counter the recall, right? Like,
no.
If they go... And they do have Lightning Bolt, so this Oppo agent isn't 100%, but, like, it definitely does something. If they open with Wasteland... Okay, Leyline doesn't matter.
I'm fine with that. Okay.
Does not matter.
So they're on a multi 5 now because of the Leyline. You like to pay 2 life? Yes.
Yeah, Leyline has very little text that matters. Like, if they Wasteland, it gets awkward if we Ancestral into nothing, but, you know, those are the games we play.
Yep.
Ideally, they fetch and we just go Ritual Oppo Agent. Giggity, giggity.
We force that?
I'm fine with it. In this instance, I'm fine with it because we're going to Oppo Agent that Wooded Foothills.
Okay.
And we can, like, if they just go, like, Simian Spirit Guide into something else, yeah, Oppo Agent that thing. You just have to click the Oppo Agent. It didn't go through because you clicked it before. And if they remove a Spirit Guide to bolt it, you probably force it. I'll be honest, this is the first time I've ever seen an opposition agent in play. How does this thing work?
So they have a Beseiju. That's their thing. Well, I guess we're just gonna grab a Taiga.
Beseiju, Pyroblast.
One of these, their hand.
I think I saw a Minsk again and a
what did I know? And a Noof.
Yeah, I knew. So now you can play that thing on your turn, right? That's how that works?
Yeah.
I mean, you play it as long as Oppo Agent's in play, or you can always play it.
I think I can always play it. Well, we're just gonna recall ourselves.
I mean, the Taiga is just a mana source.
We go Taiga and we name Pithing Needle naming Wasteland. Or we could Pithing Needle naming Minskin Boo. But I rather
Pithing Needle naming. I mean, if we name Minskin Boo, they Boseiju us, but then we can get the Surveil land. So I think I'm interested in Boseijuing the Mint because it is probably their strongest threat. Absolutely is the strongest threat they've shown this game. And, like, I'm not interested in fetching for a basic island.
How do you spell Minsk?
M-I-N-S-C. There it is. Minskin Boo Timeless Heroes. Make sure it's Timeless Heroes and not Beloved Ranger. And then make sure you attack, because that's probably how we're winning this game.
Yep. Plus with Crypt in play, We have a way to
Yeah,
kill a
I
creature.
I
Force
think this is
backup.
real interesting because they can't green suns. They have no mana other than Boseiju.
Yep.
But playing Boseiju allows them to play Oof, which could block. But if they play Oof, I actually think if they play Oof, we just play frickin' Mana Crypt games and not even bother with attacking, though.
Yeah. Well,
So I don't want to turn on their fetch lands. Okay.
there's the Boseiju. I think we just kill the. We'll just kill it with cut down.
I mean, we could kill it and attack. Yeah.
Yeah. Kill it, attack.
They played the Boseiju, so even if they draw a land, their Minskin Boo is shut off. We have the Force of Will.
Yep.
We're not in any pressure to play the Preordain right now. So, yeah, I think we're just going to 3 them. We're going to 1.5 them on average off Mana Crypt. We have a backup Dismember, so play your fetch land and cut that thing.
Yep. Land.
You have 5 minutes left, too, which is plenty enough time, but just be aware of it.
Yep.
Yeah, them losing 1 Mana Crypt roll would be huge.
Yeah. They did not.
This
They
is
don't
fine.
draw a land here.
Still,
They did not draw a land here.
we were not expecting that opposition agent, and it was all-star.
Yeah.
Yeah, get this Surveil land.
City sewers. Put into your graveyard.
Graveyard that gang. Play the C.
Yeah.
I'm almost interested in preordaining now because I'm not worried about anything they can do, but I am worried that they might have a bolt and draw a red source. That's the only thing I care about. Because in theory, they could draw their other Boseiju or their Crater Maker with red mana and shut off the Pithing Needle.
Yep.
They could draw Tarmogoyf, but their ley line is somewhat keeping a Tarmogoyf in check to the point where it dismembers live against them.
Yeah. Sure, that's
okay. That's fine. Literally does nothing.
Yep. I think they also have Ren and 6 in their hand, potentially. But no red mana. Now we can preordain.
Yeah, now we preordain, and if they do nothing, we just mystical for Time Walk, probably. I don't even think I care about Doomsday right now.
Yeah, it's just gonna put both on the bottom. Draw a Sapphire. And cast a Sapphire. And then,
Yeah, Sapphire actually gives you hard cast. Oh no, it doesn't because of the Taiga.
pass the turn.
Mystical for Time Walk should end this game.
Looking for them to finally take another 3 off this thing.
I mean, in the next 2 turns, they have to, right?
One would hope.
There we go. They lost it. Right.
Yep.
So now we don't even need a Mystical for Time Walk. We probably just keep Mystical in hand for Force of Will.
Yep.
There. Don't even force it because you got Dismember. It's not big enough. Just let them have it.
Sure. End of turn, I'm just going to dismember it.
Part of me is like mystical for a Dismember, but we already have it. So yeah, just Dismember that thing. Make sure you pay the 2. Yeah, exactly.
So we're going to do this. We're going to do this, this, and this. Yep.
And right click concede.
Nice. We are on the play. Game number 5. Ugh.
Yeah, this hand would be great if we knew what we were up against, but you have to throw it back. One wasteland and we're sunk.
I like this.
I do as well.
Get rid of the vamp?
Did we win the roll?
No, we did not.
No. Okay, so we keep this.
Do we get rid of Vampire Tutor?
Yeah, probably.
Okay. See what my opponent is doing. Workshop.
Null Rod. Please be a Null Rod and not a Sphere. Oh, it's another dual player.
That's fine.
I mean,
Maybe.
if they have a counter spell for your Necropotence, it's probably pretty bad.
Hopefully we draw Sapphire? Or Petal?
Sapphire, Force of Will, Days, actually, right now, at least with the game state, would be a live spell.
Mm-hmm.
Active Negation, if you want to go to game 2 really quickly, would be live.
Force is also like we can draw like counters as well. Like we have some
Yeah,
play.
Force of Will is probably your best. I mean, Black Lotus is a pretty good draw. Sapphire, Lotus Petal, Jet.
Yeah. We've got plenty.
I mean, none of that matters if your opponent does not play a.
They're drawing with the top. Are they going to play like
I
a
wonder if
Grim
they
Monolith?
have
A key.
Yeah, I was gonna say they probably have the key and are gonna untap the Soul Ring and then set up for key plus top next turn.
Okay, I thought they were gonna like
Just
time
spot
vault
on
me.
play because it does get around Days doing that, which is interesting.
Yeah. I think we just go for it.
We do have to, yeah. We have to, and if we hit Necropotence, I'm probably drawing like 11 cards or 12 cards. And I'm just gonna try and sit on like Doomsday plus double counter spells with this Time Walk in hand. That's unfortunate. They probably have the counter spell. Yeah, they do. I mean,
It may like they had to go for it. Hopefully they don't have like anything to follow up next turn, but we'll see.
Yeah, our scariest thing they could draw would obviously be a duel or a
Time vault.
A time vault flat out would end the game.
Wait, they're insta drawing.
They did not. Oh, so they have the outcome.
Huh?
Oh, they have the outcome.
No, they have
Oh,
the
they have
Tinker. Okay, yeah, we lose.
I mean, turn 2 Tinker on the play with Force the Will back up, 0 cards in hand. They just get the time vault and it ends the game. Well, you know what? Let them see if they're going to be greedy. No reason to concede yet. Just let them do it. I mean, if they put the time vault in play, you wasted 5 seconds of your clock. Okay, yeah, they're not an idiot.
Okay, yeah, now we can.
I have seen people get greedy and lose because of it, so I'm going to give them the opportunity to.
So we're gonna do a Shieldreds.
Yeah, the Shieldred, the Force Negation.
They're go to.
Yeah, it's the Shieldreds and the Force Negation. And then the outs were the Dress Down, the Days, and the Street Race.
Do you take out the Days on the?
Yeah, I'm not interested in dazing anything that they play. We're not winning the game by dazing on the defense, and they're going to have mana on the offense.
Yep. Okay, so we are gonna be on the play. We just keep this, and we can potentially demonic consultation for a force if we need to. We like
So
Lotus.
If Lotus gets countered, we're sunk, right?
Yeah.
But if Lotus doesn't get countered, we have the Scaldred, and we have Doomsday, right? Because we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 4.
Don't have.
And we can demonic it. Like if Scaldred resolves, we demonic consultation for C, and then Doomsday.
Okay. So we're gonna keep and go for it.
I mean, I'm not happy about it, but I think that it's better than mulling the 6 in this matchup.
Yeah, let's keep it. They're gonna keep theirs.
If they counter the Lotus, we're basically just sunk. But
Yeah.
that's a risk you have to have. And then you just jam the Sheldred.
And you want a consult for what here?
Underground Sea.
Not a Force of Will.
No, because you're gonna just jam Doomsday. If they stop your Doomsday pile, your Sheldred with attacking and triggers should kill them first. Now the awkward part is if they put a Metamorph into play and stop your plan. But
so we Underground Sea here.
I think we Underground Sea and then we Dark Ritual Doomsday.
We lost.
You only removed like 10 cards. Nothing relevant. You don't even need it. Like, you don't even need a Doomsday, but I think that we just have to be the offensive deck, right? Like, who's the beatdown? And right now we're just trying to race them.
So Ancestral.
Black Lotus. Pact of Negation. Thassa's Oracle.
Act. So we draw Ancestral. Black. Okay. Ancestral. So we draw for turn Ancestral Recall.
You could put a Force of Will in this deck too, but maybe you put the Pact as the bottom card because it's, again, not going to matter. We're just going to try and kill them next turn.
Yeah.
Because your Force of Will plus Force of Negation is an active counter spell if they do counter the Ancestral while you have Sheldred in play, right?
Let's hit done. Trying to think. Okay. So we put Pact on the bottom. I think it goes Pact.
Thassa's Oracle.
Thassa's Oracle, Lotus.
Black Lotus, Force of Will, Ancestral, so that we can try and kill them next turn. And if they have a misstep or something for the Ancestral, we untap with Sheldred in play.
I guess.
Yeah, you can right click and ignore that, but
okay, let's see what they try to do.
I'm guessing it's a Metamorph on the Sheldred.
A Trinisphere.
Okay, that's awkward.
I might just kill them.
That's real bad for us.
It's real bad for us, but I might be able to just kill them beforehand, right? In 4 turns? Hopefully.
Yeah, you hit them for 4. You put them to 12. It's 3 turns because you put them to 12. You draw. They go to 10. You hit them to 6.
Yeah.
You draw again to 4. Or they draw, I guess, technically. But Trinisphere was definitely something that you can't really participate or anticipate, rather.
And they're locked under their own Trinisphere. Okay.
They might have Metamorph, and if they have Metamorph, they're just waiting to hit a land.
Yeah.
These Doomsday piles are so awkward to me because I'm still so used to having to draw the entire pile with Laboratory Maniac that my brain is just squeaking out at the fact of like, okay, how can we maximize our value when in reality, oftentimes that last card doesn't matter. It is just wrecking my mind completely.
Please don't draw land. Hey, we got it.
I,
Okay. Is there
oh man,
anything? I think we just run it back,
I mean,
right?
maybe the Hercles might have value because of Trinisphere and because of defense grid, but honestly, if they play a defense grid, I think we just try to kill them through it. So let's
Yeah.
just run this.
I'm not afraid of the defense grid. I am afraid of that Trinisphere, though. Limit deck.
Yeah, it's restricted, and I
Yeah.
mean, if they have it, they have it. That's the interesting thing about vintage is, sometimes you get vintage, and sometimes you play games that
I don't think we can keep this. We need to have an
we
actual
can't,
force.
or a better turn one than that.
Yeah. That's
Because these 3 preordains are never going to matter. This hand, however, I'm definitely into, and I think I'm bottoming
the
the
underground sea.
Underground Sea. Yeah.
They also mold.
And I'm
What?
actually really interested in, like, hopefully drawing another land or a Mox and then Mystical for Ritual, and then just kill them with Force of Will.
Yep. That's fine.
Yeah, I don't counter mana against this deck, like, ever. Obviously, Jewel is not mana, but
Yeah. And the way that I look at their deck
I was wondering if they had Academy with that opener.
is a super fragile, like, kind of deck, if that makes sense. Like, I look at them like a Belcher deck almost.
With double Force in hand, if I don't draw a mana source here,
Oh, we did.
okay, I did draw a mana source. Perfect. I'm actually really into Polluted Delta Go.
Into our Scryland.
Depending on how much we have to interact with them,
Fair.
it's Scryland, because they have 3 cards in hand, right?
Yep.
So they could go Jewel. If they go Jewel, I'm into probably Force of Negation, removing the
Brainstorm.
Brainstorm.
Yeah.
I mean, Mystical Tutor is not great, so because we have double fetch land, maybe we do Scryland into. Oh, I don't care about the One Ring right now because we're going to just try to kill them on our turn now. The One Ring is not enough of a threat for me to be concerned about at this point. Obviously, if we don't kill them, that card's going to run away with it drastically fast.
Yeah.
Because the one nice thing is the One Ring does not give them protection from losing the game.
Yeah. One Ring does not stop Orc.
So they could, if they boarded in Force and Negations, one risk that we have is that they have hardcast Force and Negation.
With force backup.
So, but, right, they could have Force and Negation plus blue card plus Force. I'm interested in getting Underground Sea and Mystical Tutor for Dark Ritual here.
Yep. Ritual.
And then obviously, I would fetch first.
Yep.
Because I don't want to screw up my pile. And then you just set up a Brainstorm pile with Force backup. If they have us, they have us. But you're not really going to get any better than this, right?
Correct.
Like 4 cards in hand, Mindbreak Traps are a threat. Obviously, Force and Negation, Hardcast is a threat. And that's one thing I saw that they might have.
They have to have force here.
Wow. Okay, so they had double Force.
No
Brain,
response.
I would probably do it. Yeah. Put the Underground Sea, then the Misty. Like, they're going to draw 2 cards with 7 mana up. So, I mean,
Maybe they had double counter. I think we still made the correct play.
yeah, we had to go for it. We
And
could have
if
probably forced their One Ring, but they drew 1 card off of it. So,
yeah, they do still have a deck that's just full of mana, they could like blank a bit.
yeah,
And if we
it's
get a
like
Shieldred
half
out with the
mana.
One Ring, yeah.
I mean, I think I'm fetching, yeah, Sapphire. So that's, I mean, they have so much mana, it's blank. But if they have Outcome right now, it's kind of, oh, they have a Oh, another One Ring. Okay, so they're blanking the One Ring so that they take less damage. Because I mean they're at 13, so
Yeah.
with Mana Crypt in play, it's not 0. I
Yep.
state that so much, but so I think I fetch the Surveil land first because I want to go as deep as I can. Right? Like we're
Yeah.
looking for
A
only a
shield
couple of
trade.
things. So fetch the Surveil land and then ponder. We're so far behind on our heels right now that Mana Crypt has to do a lot of work for us. Yeah, bottom that because they could hard cast Gleemox at this point.
Yep. Are they gonna hard cast a force? Okay.
I'm fine. I'm fine with that. Sure.
Yep.
RN Jesus, be our guide. I mean,
Yep.
I'm certain that we're losing this game with the One Ring. They're going to hit an outcome, pick up their Mana Crypt in their One Ring, or just miss on the rolls. Yeah, there's the outcome. For sure. It's not an outcome, potentially, because they're tapping the Academy.
They
So
draw
they're going to
3
draw
cards?
4 cards.
Oh, 4.
4, because it's the cards in hand plus 1.
Okay.
There's the jewel.
I mean, I'm gonna make them kill us.
Well, I mean, we have to play into that double force will or double force negation. We know they're boarding in extras against us, but what's the odds with 4 cards in hand that they have
Yeah.
all of it? I mean, it's probably relatively high, but we can't just sit and dirtle against this deck.
Especially when we let the One Ring resolve. Maybe we were supposed to try to counter the One Ring?
No, I still think that the One Ring drawing 1 card is not enough of a threat for me to want to counter that when my plan is to try to kill them next turn. The thing with
Yeah.
playing a combo deck is sometimes you just have to go for it, and
Yep.
sometimes, like, if they were playing like Luris or something where we weren't under pressure, but they had Academy in play, they had 3 cards in hand at the time.
Mhm.
I'm into letting them resolve the One Ring and trying to go off with counterspell backup and playing the game of do you have it? And now it's 0%. I mean, they have a million mana. That's a GG. Like,
Yeah.
your dual players have a lot of Tolarian Academies. Our 2 rough matches were Jewel, realistically. Maybe Brandon Adams is right to play the Null Rod, but I feel like our sideboard's good. The Murktide Regent's the one card where I'm not super thrilled about it, but against the blue-black Luris deck, they can't beat a large threat effectively, and there's several decks where that thing is just huge, right?
Yeah. So that
I mean,
Murktide got big even versus that Minska player. It was
a 4
7 zone.
1 with this list is a small sample size.
Yep.
But things that I think I learned is, for me, Doomsday piles that don't have to have every card matter, which is still mind-blowing to me.
Yeah, you don't have to do that. You can be like, hey, I'm going to 4 cards, like drawing 4 cards, but my next card's another Oracle, so you have to deal with this
Right,
first
yeah.
Oracle.
Yeah, that it still is just weird to me. I think the things we learned is, at least in the small sample size, the Lotus Petal has been worth it, has made piles easier. I'm sure we could have figured out piles that won, but the card was worth it.
I think that one game with the Lotus Petal Sapphire was the only way we were going to win that game because we had the Lotus Petal.
Yeah, I think so too. The Surveil Land, Christ, I almost want a second one. That card's so good, but I don't want to risk having to. The Street Race didn't come up, but the interesting thing is I didn't miss it.
Yeah, I didn't miss it. We didn't really use it much. We did the whole thing where we boarded out like how we would usually do.
Right.
Was there any games that you think that we need to go over?
I mean, the Murktide play was just really bad. That was me forgetting that Thassa's Oracle has, God, what's it called? It's not Domain, it's
Devotion. The
Devotion.
blue. Yeah.
Yeah, Thassa's Oracle having devotion and not just being scry 2, or it's not even a scry, but the like sleight of hand 2.
Yep.
That was me being really, really bad. But quite honestly, I don't think looking at those 4 cards mattered with how that game went about.
Opposition agent, super MVP.
In that match, yes, I like that card. The Murktide Regent is still, out on that.
Yeah.
Wondering if maybe the Hercules recall could be a null rod just because Jewel seems to be bigger than fear resistance, but I'm terrified about somebody resolving like 2 artifacts against us that impact the game and us not having anything.
I mean, we have the chain and we have, well, you said 2 artifacts. I guess we would have to like make sure that we have all of the counter magic available. First,
Right.
it sucks that our opponent surrendered game 2
Yeah,
of
I would have
the
loved to
dredge.
see. I would have loved to see more with the Bazaar decks. Definitely. I mean, I know that my sideboard plan is not great against that deck, but I do think that Yixlid Jailer and Dothy Voidwalker are very good against Dredge, and I'm afraid of Dredge more than I am the Bazaar aggro deck.
Yeah, the way that I look at dredge in general, or like these graveyard decks, is that I do like Leyline because I want something. I like having Leyline because if it's in your opener, it's going to make them have to deal with it. Where if you but so you either keep a hand that's like, okay, it's got Leyline in it plus a land, we'll definitely run this out. Or it's like, okay, I've got like Doomsday turn 1 hand, but they have to always be on the mindset of like, okay, I have to bring in these Force of Vigors to deal with Leyline of the.
Yeah. Well, the Bazaar deck, the Bazaar aggro decks all play 4 Force of Vigor main decks that I've
Yep.
seen. So they have a main deck, and they're not boarding them out because they're assuming that you're bringing in something they can hit with it, right? Like
Yeah.
it's sacrilege to board those out. So they hit all the ley lines, and they hit the pipping needles that everybody's playing, etc. My thought with having 2 creatures is obviously Force of Will is there. Realistically, to turn 1 in our 2 Moxes plus Lotus Petal plus Lotus deck is
Yeah.
Dark Ritual. So Dark Ritual Jailer, they Force of Will, you force, and then they Mind Break Trap. But that requires them to have a Force of Will, a blue card, and a Mind Break Trap in their Bazaar Baghdad deck, which can happen if they draw the control side. But if they draw any of the creature side, it significantly decreases the likelihood of that. And on top of that, it blanks their 4 Force of Negations. Now, obviously, Force of Negation plus Force of Will, but like basically, the 2 creatures force them to have a Force of Will plus. And I have seen that they're main decking Fury, they're sideboarding a Pyrokinesis and extra Furies, but at least game 2, they're probably not bringing those in against the Doomsday deck, especially because of Sheldred's more of a thing.
They do have
They're
snapback. They do have sometimes they run a subtlety.
I've seen 2 snapbacks in some decks where they're maining one and sideboarding the other in my research. But yeah, snapback is one of those things that, if they have. Surgical's another card that can be really good because you want to be able to hit their squeeze, or more importantly, the best thing, in my opinion, you can hit is the Master of Death, because it is how they fuel discarding 3 cards and still keeping force up.
Yep.
Obviously, if you're going off, hitting a Force of Will or hitting a Mind Break Trap and the knowledge is important. I actually oftentimes in the past, 2012, 13, played an extirpate. I think the format is far too fast for that, which is why Surgical's there.
Yeah.
The Tabernacle, I feel like Tabernacle is replacing Time Vault, which replaced Time Twister in the Power 9 as far as vintage goes. Because never leave home without it. You need that. So if they open, the best opener I saw at Eternal Weekend while watching games was somebody going Bazaar of Baghdad, tap, discard, Vengevine, and something irrelevant. Play double Hollow One, bringing back both Vengevines, and I think it was a Chalice of the Void as well. So it was like hit you for 8, have 16 power plus Chalice. And if you untap and play Tabernacle into that, they're sunk, right? Like Tabernacle's not great against Dredge. They can just Icarage you through it. But it's there because you need to beat the hollow ones. So like never leave home without Tabernacle. And with every deck playing Wasteland, like bring up my sideboard matrix because it's got 85% of the metagame according to MTG Top 8. I know a lot of people prefer Goldfish, but for just getting a quick look at that, like if you look at Bazaar Aggro, that has 4 Wastelands, right? Bug Midrange has 4 Wastelands. Dredge, I actually haven't looked at a Dredge list lately, but I'm
Dredge has
imagining
around 2 to 3.
they,
2
I was gonna
Wastelands
say
and a strip mine.
they probably play a couple. Cape Bear has 4. Mud has 4. All the Lurth decks have 4. So if you're looking percentage wise, like Bazaar Aggro is 6%, right? Then you have Bug Midrange, which takes it to 9. Dredge takes it to 17. Cape Bears is 27%. Mud brings it to 33. Then you have, 33%. Then you have the 3 different Lurith decks, which is another 21%. So 51% of the metagame is playing 4 Wastelands. Well, I mean, Dredge, so like 51% of the metagame's playing like 3.8 Wastelands on average, right? So I think Tipping Needle is just really
important. Have you looked
important.
at the Luris combo decks at all? Are you worried about those?
So I think that MTG Top 8 loops them in the paradoxical outcome decks. And obviously, a sideboard guide is not an end-all, be-all. It's a starter. Like, I won't even print this out and take it to my event. I'm going to sideboard on the fly. I always do, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, I built this in like 15 minutes. It's my standard format for everything because if you see my Excel sheet, when you change things, it'll tell you your variance, whether you're up or down, change colors and stuff, and you can plug and play for any decks and then I don't have the whole main deck as you saw. I only have the cards that I sideboard out just because if I do print this, like at Eternal Weekend, I did print one. I don't want to have the whole deck list because like Ancestor Recall, you're not boarding out, right? Yeah. So like, Black Lotus is not getting boarded out. Actually, on this guide, I'm not even boarding out Lotus Petal against Mud because Mud is split between the hyper-aggressive Zolo style Mud decks or the Gola style Mud decks to play Null Rod because there are some lists, like the average is like 2.5 Null Rods right now.
Yeah, because there's like the Patchwork deck that does run the Null Rods.
Exactly, and then there's not really the decks like how Rich Shea when he still played Vintage and Montolio, Andy Markinson when he won, where they were just machine gun decks with Ravagers and all that stuff. Those decks aren't doing that anymore because those decks really needed Veer and Thorn of Amethyst and whatnot to just a little bit ahead of the decks. And now every deck is so fast. The Bazaar decks are so good. I don't think that style of deck can really compete anymore. I might be wrong. The one card I'm not sold on is the Murktide. But I see people playing it, and it's cute to me, and I love that card. I like that it gives a second angle of attack that doesn't get interacted by Karakas because people know Sheoldred is coming.
They should now. Like, there was a time where Doomsday, like, before Champs was, like, right before Champs, if you looked at the Doomsday list, they weren't running creatures in their sideboard. And I'm like, this is wrong. Like, Sheoldred is amazing. Granted, like, Sheoldred, I don't even know if Sheoldred won me. Sheoldred won me one game versus Bazaar Aggro at Champs. But
it's not there to win the game, right? It's there to solve the game.
Yeah.
The only other thing I've considered playing due to the number of outcome decks, because it doesn't get removed by anything that they can do outside of attacking it with the construct tokens, is I have considered putting a Narset in the deck somewhere.
And I don't Narset better than Hull Breacher?
No, because Hull Breacher can be turn 2'd realistically with your mana base off of a Dark Ritual. However, Narset doesn't get interacted with nearly as effectively as Hull Breacher.
Maybe I'm confused. they can
because
still draw at least one card a turn. Well, I guess if they're running the 4 dress downs, Narset's better.
exactly 4 dress downs plus like creature removal. Like I'm looking at one of the Lurrus decks right now, and this is just one that it looks like won a Hararuya event. It looks like it's just the first one I came to. So I'm going to look at that one, and then I'm going to look at the other first place deck from a super qualifier. So the super qualifier deck is Jewel. In the main deck, the only way they can answer Narset, obviously they could play Mystic Forge, they could just Time Vault kill you,
Yep.
or they could get Karn. But even Karn can't deal with Narset, whereas the Mightstone and the Weakstone can. Now, mind you, Karn just animates one of their artifacts and whacks the Narset, right? But I feel like Narset or the Hull Breacher would be good there. I'm excited about Doomsday, though, because I definitely need to get the rust out. Obviously, understand some of the newer cards, like Thassa's Oracle. That Murktide play is going to haunt me forever. But
Hopefully, did I show you some cool piles, or like, hopefully I wasn't like trying to like do piles over what you were thinking.
no, the piles, the number one thing for me was trying to remember that you didn't have to have all 5 cards be utilized.
Yeah.
I'm still stuck in Laboratory Maniac, and the challenge there is the mana's different. So, like, your Dark Ritual is far less important to put in piles. There were so many piles I used to put Dark Ritual in to get around Nullrod, and overall, I'm happy with the 4-1. I'm happy to know that, like, okay, and we got turn 2 tinkered with Force Will backup on the draw. Like, our opponent just turn 2 tinkered before we did more than play a land with Force Will. We're going to lose those games. That's fine, right? And then in that last game, we just got double force. I think we have to make them have it there. I mean, I'm going to have to think about that game a lot, but I think we have to just see if they have it. 4 cards in hand, right? They play the One Ring, so if we force a will there, they have a Force of Will in their hand, and we're behind a Force of Will, which the game could potentially continue, right? But I think I'm more happy to let them draw 1 card, go up to 4, and then assume that, you know, they have Force of Will blue cards blank.
Do some more testing for sure for your tournament.
Yeah, it gave me a lot of confidence going into the tournament that I can at least figure out these piles and stuff. Like, there's definitely things that I missed, but that'll come back in time. And I mean, the other reality is the game has changed a lot. Magic Online has brought people into Vintage that are just much better Magic players than me, and it's possible that my best years are behind me. And if that's the case, I'll still contribute and play, enjoy the game.
Yeah. In the end, I'm just here to have fun, look at shiny cards. Well, sometimes shiny cards. Hello, YouTube. Just want to thank everyone for watching. We'll be doing another League with Solly, so everybody watch out for that. We're going to keep testing to get them prepared for the tournament. And thank you again. Have a great day and good luck out there.